They're not playing this week, so they'll definitely cruise into next week.
They haven't backed into undefeated. They've played some good teams.
4 in the Big Ten, Michigan, Ohio State. Well, Ohio State's not there anymore.
No. Ohio State won.
Oh, Ohio State did win.
Yeah. Felt like a loss at times.
So I got it right the first time, Jim. Stick with what you wrote.
Who we got
Michigan,
now?
Ohio State, Penn State, Maryland still unbeaten.
Yeah, kind of flying under the radar a little bit. Mike Loxley's Maryland team with Talia Tagovailoa playing quarterback. I think they'll probably come back down to earth, but good start for them.
3 in the Big 12, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas. Kansas, Texas play each other this week.
Yeah, you're going to lose one of those.
And 3 in the SEC, Georgia, Kentucky, Missouri. Not the 3 we thought, but there's 3 nonetheless.
I think you could realistically lose all 3 this week.
In the SEC?
Mm-hmm. I don't think you will.
Realistically, Auburn has a chance?
I mean, they got a chance.
Well, it is a slim chance.
I think they're going to play a good game this weekend.
I get the feeling like...
You and Barkley, man.
Yeah, you lean Auburn because you said it right at the start of the show. Somebody was asking you, can Auburn get inside the number? And you're like, oh, yeah, I think they can get inside the number. I mean, you sound like you could foresee this being a one-score game going to the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, somehow, I don't know if it's going to be Ashford or Peyton Thorne. I think it's probably going to be Peyton Thorne. But if it is Peyton Thorne, you got to get in his ear and remind him he's had good games before. It's been a while, but he went into Wisconsin, won a game in overtime where he played clean football last year.
The Brown Bandit says, old Josh Pate saying it's going to be a one-score game, Georgia-Auburn this weekend.
That would be an incredible coaching job by Hugh Freeze to get quarterback from where we saw it in College Station to having Georgia as a one-score game go to the fourth quarter.
It scares me about Peyton Thorne is that if you go back and watch that game again, there are plays that he was scared to throw. Looking downfield. He's ducking on a sack, 2 steps before the sack even gets there. Meanwhile, on the other side of the state, you got Milroe staying in there and letting the ball go while he's getting doubled over.
You're absolutely
that's
right.
the kind of throw you got to make sometimes.
You got to remember, too, Carson Beck is making his first career road start in Jordan-Hare.
It's a tough environment. There's no doubt.
I would ride with Robbie Ashford. I really do.
I mean,
you might have to.
Just hope you go good Robbie Ashford.
I think his legs is the reason why, It's like we said about Milroe. He's the athlete that's going to get you out of the trouble.
Yep. I think I would go Robbie Ashford this weekend myself. How many unbeatens? Real quick, 15 seconds.
26.
At the
27.
At the end of the 12-game regular season, how many people will be unbeaten?
I think you'll have 1.
I'll go 2.
Georgia and...
I don't know. I'll just go 2. I don't think it's going to be a lot.
I'm going to go 1.
Georgia, Texas, Michigan for me. I'll go 3.
Wow.
All right, that's the show today. DJ Football, a little NFL talk with Brownie coming up in our overtime today at the top of the hour. You don't have to change anything. You don't have to do anything. You just have to sit back and enjoy. But if you want that kind of content all the time, Disrupt the Media YouTube channel. Disrupt the Media YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. War Down Pods, Roll Tide Pods as well over there. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live will share the latest interviews and videos from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and campuses all over the college landscape. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Live Daily Show. Jim, Lance, and Ryan will share their thoughts, and remember, you can always see the old shows on the Next Round Live YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, and don't forget to comment. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. It's Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
You've been wearing that thin, raggedy t-shirt for years now, and people cannot stop whispering and staring in your vicinity. We've all been there. Luckily, there's a solution to your lack of fashion and social cues. At NextRound.store, they have plenty of options when it comes to a variety of shirts and hats. Once you start putting that Next Round gear on, be prepared to make new lifelong friends and hundreds of unforgettable conversations. Hope you like random high fives in the street, because that's what you're getting after visiting NextRound.store.
The Double Down Media podcast family is live and full of content for all ages. The Mystery Fifth Hour gives the Next Round host a chance to talk about everything but sports. Pour a glass of Bama and bourbon, our weekly college football conversation, while sipping on some of the most interesting pours in the bourbon world. And in our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, LT takes off the gloves for in-depth conversations with stars like Taylor Hicks, presented by Redmont Vodka. Find these podcasts and more by searching The Next Round on Apple, Spotify, and on our website, nextroundlive.com. Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family, all at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Live show now, a lot to get to. A lot of hot, cold stuff early on. Don't forget, we got our Bud Light game night tonight. Overtime Bar and Grill, West Homewood, just off Lakeshore on I-65. If you want to come hang out with us, we'll have that QR code for you that you can scan and get into the drawing for Alabama-Auburn tickets at the end of the year. That QR code only on location with us, thanks to our friends at Bud Light. Bud Light game night tonight, Overtime Bar and Grill. Fun night of college football, including Jack State from our local area on the road at Sam Houston and Middle Tennessee and Western Kentucky. 2 TV games there and a really good one in the NFL. Lions and Packers will be setting the table with Lance's Lock on our pregame show, video show from Overtime Bar and Grill on Bud Light game night. We're there 5 to 7, 6 to 7 on all the video platforms. LancesLock.com, brought to you every day by our friends at Hemp Hill. For all your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name Birmingham's trusted since 1954. Hemp Hill Services. Call us now, 205-229-2090, 229-2090. Brown.
I got something coming up on that Jack State Sam Houston State game.
All right.
I've identified a mismatch, Jim Dunaway.
All right. So Brownie has that coming up in our stock report
yes,
later on.
I've identified a massive mismatch in this game. You're going to want to put the kids' college fund on this one, boys.
All right.
I don't even think you get a number on it.
Oh, I got a number on it.
Did you?
Yeah. Jack State.
Jack State, Sam Houston State. Sam Houston State, one of the better FCS programs.
I think they're up now.
Yeah,
I
it
think
is.
they moved up.
I think they did.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
What
That's why you got a
they,
number on it.
independent?
You know, Jim, I really can't keep up with who's in one
Sun Belt,
conference.
Conference
I
USA?
don't know.
Do you know the nickname of St. Houston?
Sam Houston State is they're the conquistadors.
They're not the Conquistador.
You know what's funny
I think they're
is
the Bobcats, aren't they?
no, they're the Bearcats,
Bearcats.
but it's spelled wrong. Bearcat should be with a C. Theirs is with a K.
Yeah, that's right. I
Not
remember
at the
that now.
strip club down in Tampa.
That's
It
what I was about to say.
Bare
Yeah,
cats.
no, I believe that. Do you think they got a stripper as their mascot?
Jack State favored 6.5 on the road. On the highway.
Rocky, do you know any history on Sam Houston, the individual?
The name Houston after him.
Yeah,
Thank you, Rockstar.
I'm wondering.
And the great discount store, Sam's.
He's a big guy in Texas.
You remember Ian used to tell us there's nothing in Houston but strip clubs and fried chicken joints?
I do, and construction. There's a lot of road
So I'm
construction.
just wondering if Houston was named after him and he was a big strip club connoisseur, and that's why they call the Bearcats with a K.
Sam was around. I don't know if they had the gentlemen's clubs back then. Sam was around back in the 1800s, Lance.
That's what they just went straight to it. There was no champagne room. We just had a brothel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
you
just
just went
show up and you go
upstairs.
straight to the brothel.
Miss Kitty poured you a chicken cock downstairs.
Shaked it with their tail feather.
Yeah, and then the brownie of the saloon was over there playing the keyboard on the piano that he really didn't have to play because it played by itself, but he over there whistled and played that. And
Hey, guys.
had that little thing around his arm. And then you walked upstairs, and Miss Kitty got you a young lady. You threw 2 quarters down on the bar, and you walked upstairs.
Well, she toweled you off first, though, right?
I'll tell you what about old Sam
It was
Houston.
Saturday, you got a shower.
Yeah. I'll tell you
A
what
bath,
about
actually.
old Sam Houston. 3 separate times he was the governor of Texas.
I thought you were going to say he was shot.
And
Say he's the 50 Cent
once
of
he was
the American Revolution.
Once he was a governor of Tennessee. Boy, you don't see that very often. He got to be Texas governor 3 separate times and governor of Tennessee. That old boy could win an
Yeah,
election.
but I'm going to say they strong-armed people back then.
You think he might have bought it? Let's see how he died.
George Strait went on to write his song. He left all his exes in Texas when he moved to Tennessee.
He did.
Yeah.
He did do
It was
that.
really
yes.
good. Brown reading Wikipedia brought to you today by our friends at Simpio. As we jump into that, Simpio, one of the first people we called. A little bit more on Sam Houston, the individual. Jack State and Sam Houston State tonight, 7 o'clock. That's on ESPNU. You can watch that game tonight.
Yeah, Simpio take care of BS in every single office when a business joins Simpio. They're going to take care of the 4 pillars, that is compliance, HR, payroll, benefits. When your company joins Simpio, you gain access to healthcare and employer benefits at prices only the large organizations get. You can join Simpio any time of year, no annual contract. With that being said, they've got a 99% retention rate. Call Blake and the guys today, 205-635-7467 or Simpio.com.
Brown, blow my mind. Is Sam Houston State, I'm going to guess, is it in Houston?
No, Sam Houston State's in Nacogdoches. I do know that. Yeah. I was just seeing how he died. No real good story there. He just died of old age, bad health.
Oh, man, I was hoping he got a knife in the skull or
I'm sorry.
gonorrhea.
I know.
Olney.
One of those
Horrible sea-doo accidents.
So,
horrible sea-doo
how,
accident in the
far,
1800s.
how far outside of Houston is that?
Nacogdoches?
Yeah.
I really don't know.
I'm not a big fan of the state of Texas.
Really? You don't like the state of Texas?
Yeah.
No.
Welcome to all our viewers from the state of Texas.
Yeah, Lance's not a fan
I mean,
of yours.
I think it's, the don't mess with Texas. It's us against, it ain't Ohio against the world. It's Texas against the world.
If anybody's got that attitude,
Yeah.
it's Texas. Yeah.
Everyone pointing out Huntsville, Texas for Sam Houston State, which
it was
makes
close.
no sense. It's Stephen F. Austin that's in Nacogdoches.
Yeah.
Now to a couple of things I wanted to get to here in this opening segment as we get going here. If you can, Rockstar, give me cut number one. There are things that, occasionally come across the college football world that still catches people by surprise. There's very few things that surprise us anymore when you hear, oh, this guy's making $1 million in NIL. This guy got this card.
Yep.
I mean, it's all legal now, right? Nothing surprises you anymore until the athletic director at Ohio State, Gene Smith, says, oh, yeah, we're having to pay basically $5,000 for some recruits just to make official visits to Ohio State.
No.
Wait, we're paying $5,000 just for you to have the honor to come on an official visit to Ohio State?
This is, and I know Saban's got comments on this. This is when I become Dabo. This
I was
is
about to say, Dabo's over here shaking his head now.
I can't buy into this.
I'd be like, wait a second.
This.
We're the Ohio State
Yeah.
University,
Yeah.
and you want $5,000 to come visit us?
You know what you'll be doing in 3 years?
I know.
Yeah.
I'll be building another house for
Is
Dabo.
that-
Collecting that buyout.
Is that $5,000 on top of me already paying for you and your family to
Yes.
come? And
Yeah.
eat?
That's what that is, yeah.
So I can't flip double birds to you here on the air, but that's what I would give him too. Here's Nick Saban. He gets asked about it last night after practice.
If the AD at Ohio State went before the Small Business Committee in the House and talking about guardrails for NIL, and he dropped a little nugget about prospects wanting $5,000 to come just to make a visit. And I wondered if you'd been approached by any prospects for things like that, and if so, how you'd handle that.
Not that I know of. So I don't know of anybody that has asked us, for that. But look, name, image, and likeness is not really name, image, and likeness. I mean, I think we all understand what it's become and what we allowed it to become. And I said long ago and got very criticized for, is this what we want college football to become? So it's becoming what it's becoming, and that's okay. I mean, we'll just adapt and do what we have to do to be able to compete, whatever the circumstances are. So do I think that it would be judicious to have some guardrails on some things? I think you can figure that one out just as well as anybody else.
Saban normally goes hands in armpits when he knows he's answering a question he could totally step in it on. You know what I'm saying? Like, he could say something where people pull a quote and say, yeah, all you kids that want some NIL money, you don't go to Alabama. I like what Nick Saban says about it.
I don't think that's exactly what it is. I think when he says things that he may not actually know if he's 100% telling the truth on. Is when he does this.
Well,
in
and
my
I
opinion.
think he's holding back a little bit too.
Yeah, and so he went, as far as I know, none of our people who've come on official visits have asked for $5,000 from us.
Yeah, you're saying that may not make it to Saban's desk, that
Right.
might be an underling under
Right.
Saban saying, hey, look, but, Bobby Todd here wants $5,000. Are we in on him? And the guy goes, oh, yeah, give him $5,000. Okay.
Yeah.
That never makes
Nick
it to
may not
Saban's
know it, but all of
Right.
a sudden he's like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm saying something here that.
So I'm going to go to my knowledge here.
I'm hoping I'm saying it correctly.
By the way he did that, he has now opened the door. If I'm making an official visit for the Tennessee game, I'm going to be like, you know what, Pops, ask Saban for $5,000 if he really wants me to come in now.
Yeah, that's why I hate this for Gene Smith. He set the market now.
Oh, he really did.
If Ohio State's $5,000, wait a second.
Was Brandy Favre asking the question, and then the other thing,
Kirk McNair.
extortion is what he's talking about. That's what NIL has become. It's extortion.
Yeah.
You want me to come to your campus? You give me $5,000. If not, I'm going to go to Tallahassee.
All right. But
It's malware, Brown. It's malware.
Okay, let me
you want your official visit back?
I mean, let me
you
ask
got to pay me
So, Brown,
$5,000.
real quick before you get to your
Time
point.
out.
Before you get
Okay.
to your point, I was telling somebody yesterday, You don't have to be rich. You got to have rich friends.
Right.
Those are the ones that'll take you places.
Okay.
But if you had a rich friend that was inviting you to the beach for a week, do you ask for $5,000 on top of it?
Let me ask you this. If you, as a Rams fan, you could pluck one player off any team in the NFL.
Christian McCaffrey.
All right.
Okay.
Christian McCaffrey.
Boy, our offense. Woo.
Christian McCaffrey is a free agent.
Yep.
Jamar Chase.
And you bring him in to visit the Rams. What do you want the Rams to do?
I want them to wine and dine him.
That's right. You want them to roll out the red carpet.
They
right?
already do
They
that.
do that, yeah. They're eating lobster and
Oh, I
everything.
know. That's what I'm saying.
But
This
now we're going to give them $5,000?
What's the difference? I mean,
Oh,
if
there's
you,
a big difference.
What's the
like
big
Christian
difference?
McCaffrey's not going to ask for $5,000 when free agents
yeah,
go on
but
these trips. They don't
Christian
ask for money.
My point is, Christian McCaffrey's getting $5,000 and then some.
So are these other guys. They're
not getting anywhere close to that. They're visiting a college campus for a weekend.
I'm
They go
going
to
Dabo. I'm
listen
laying
to
it down.
me,
This
please.
is ridiculous.
They go to Chuck's Fish and they stay in, the nicest hotel in a college town. Christian McCaffrey comes to visit LA as a free agent. They absolutely roll out the red carpet. They put him in the top-notch hotel. He eats anything he wants. It's $5,000 worth of stuff or $5,000 cash. It's still $5,000.
Oh, yeah, but this is on top of that, though, right? That's what I'm saying.
But I'm saying you don't get that on the college
No,
campus.
you do though. Like
you don't.
I can't.
You can't on the
I am
college
commuting
campus.
from Lake Martin to Auburn, back to Lake Martin, back to Auburn because I can't afford $1,200 a night for the rooms the recruits will be staying in.
That's right.
Yeah.
But it's nothing compared to what you do in NFL free agents, so we don't bat an eye at that.
I disagree. I think we are giving the kids the lobster dinners. I think they're staying at the nicest hotels. They're getting a bunch of merch and swag.
My point is, Lance, the nicest hotels at a college town aren't what you're going to put the kid in L.A. or South Beach or somewhere like that.
Okay, but guess what? A 17 or 18-year-old doesn't deserve what Christian McCaffrey's getting.
I don't really
not?
understand why you're arguing about the NFL.
Because I'm saying this is what is already happening. Why are we drawing the line right here in college
because
football?
Christian McCaffrey might be the greatest player in the NFL or the greatest
this
player
might
in the
be
world
the
right now.
greatest player in college football.
But he hasn't proved anything.
But, I mean, so, all right. But you want him. What if he is? You're never going to have him.
Well,
I don't have a problem with this.
I do. I got a big problem with this one.
I don't know why.
Our friends at Wayne's have been celebrating the best in pest control and everything else for 50 years now. They've been the best at it. And we've been celebrating with Wayne's all year long. 50 years. That says a lot about the business, right? You don't make it 50 years unless you're the best at what you do. The best in pest control, best in termite protection, and the best in customer service. The best way to say thank you, our friends at Wayne's, is to give you a little money back, and they're doing that. $50 off the pest control and termite protection when you go to callwaynes.com. Callwaynes.com. Check that out right there, callwaynes.com. If they ever ask you, tell them you watch us here on the next round. Other than that, just call Waynes.com. They love you. We love you. And happy 50 to our friends at Wayne's. Call Waynes.com. Brown.
So Riley says, all right, Brown, go pay an unproven intern $100,000 because they might be the best intern. If we had an intern that we thought might change our business forever, we probably wouldn't make him an intern. We'd probably pay him.
You tell me there are only a handful of kids that have actually changed the trajectory of a program in college football.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Ohio State and Alabama don't need that. I'm just saying.
You don't think Ohio State and Alabama could use a legitimate quarterback right now?
Oh, I think they could, but I'm just saying.
Probably the piece that's standing in the way of both of them contending for the national championship right now.
But it's not like they're not going to win national championships in the next 3, 4, 5 years.
You don't know that.
Yeah, I think my point, Brown, is we're already doing, well more than $5,000 worth, which we all agree on, to entertain you. And we've entertained you multiple times already. We're already probably sliding you money under the table, and now you're going to milk me for $5,000 more just to pay a visit?
Where does it stop?
Yeah.
Where does it really stop?
More
it stops where the open market says it stops.
Yeah, well, that's why if I'm all the other ADs, I'm calling Gene Smith and saying, look, we're going to lay down. We've got to have a universal rule.
Yeah, good luck on that one.
Out of principle, I don't know how you pay a high school recruit to come onto your campus.
Look,
that is so disrespectful.
I don't like it either. Don't get me wrong. I don't like the fact that they're doing this, but I'm just saying we're naive if we don't think it was already going on. You don't think this was already happening?
But you've invited me to your house.
Right.
And now I'm asking for money. It's one thing if you want me to sign with your program, then give me money. I got that. But if you want to invite me to check out everything and ask me for $5,000, that is ridiculous.
I watched the the 30 for 30 last night.
But I do agree with you. People will pay it.
Yeah, of course they'll pay it because they want great players.
I watched the Dion documentary, the 30 for 30 last night, and Dion, the whole 1992 thing, and the Braves were upset. They had him through July, but they worked an agreement for him to play through the playoffs in the World Series, and he's coming back in 1993. They agreed to a contract for him to play, be with the Braves the whole season, pay him for baseball for the whole season in 1993. But somehow Sherholtz and Dion had gotten on the wrong side of each other during the whole 1991 playing both ways, because he'd sort of told them not going to go play with the Falcons when the playoffs are going on, and he did end up going to play for the Falcons that one day on October 11th, I think it was. So in 1993, Dion signs the contract and deal, but he doesn't do the big day at the ballpark with the fans. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do that. And every time Sherholtz would call him, he's like, "Don't call my house unless you're telling me more money. You're paying me to play baseball. You're not you're not paying me to go to these fan days, to pose for this, to do these interviews, to do that." And the other players were doing that, but Dion said, "No, that's you worked out a deal. You made a big pissy moan about me playing football on that day, and now this is what's in my contract. I'm gonna play baseball for you." A few days later, he's with the Cincinnati Reds.
They said we're not going to take that. Okay.
Yep.
Well, you can do that. I mean, that's the Dabo stance, right? And I mean, do you think Dabo's going to win a national championship in the next 5 years?
I don't, but I would take the stance on this. I'm telling you, it's somebody's lazy uncle that did this. He's not working.
This is people who realize that they've got a generational athlete in their family, at least they think, right? And he may never make the NFL. This is my one chance to make a little money that I thought I'd never have. I mean, that's what it is.
It's extortion.
I mean, I guess it's extortion. I don't know that it's extortion. But I don't know why this is surprising when we've opened the door for this.
What is surprising is it's $5,000 to come for a visit.
Right.
It's not surprising to me if it's $150,000 to sign with us or $1 million to sign with us. I don't set a limit on that.
Yeah, but what a weird place to draw a line.
Yeah, but it is, because it seems so petty that now just to visit, where I may end up paying you $1 million,
so
to come just for you to decide where you want to make your $1 million, you're going to hold me over the barrel for $5,000.
What was Cam Newton worth to you?
It was worth everything.
Yeah, he's worth $5 million a year.
So you wouldn't have paid him $5,000 to visit your school?
You don't know he was going to be that good, though.
Some people would have.
Well, you didn't know that when you paid the $1 million to get him, Lance.
Some people would have. But I'm telling you, I've got a chance. You got a chance to make $1 million here. We're a great program.
Yep.
We're going to give you $1 million. You're going to be our starting quarterback. Mm-hmm. And then you're like, okay, that million's good. The lobster was great at dinner. The limo was fantastic. Pops loved the cigars.
Right.
Blah 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 blah. I also want $5,000
so
cash.
Your issue is they look cheap doing it.
Well, it's
embarrassing. So Nick Saban is the greatest coach in college football history.
I agree.
And you want me to come to a birthday party, do the fucking electric slide, and I'll give you $5,000 to come to my campus? No. Not doing it.
Yeah,
I'm not doing it.
At one point,
17-year-old is not dictating that. I'm getting out of the damn game. I would.
Well, I mean, it would get you out of the game. You'd have to find another job.
I mean, $1 million is okay, man. I can pay you $1 million once you sign with us because you're with us. But I'm gonna pay you You're gonna all this stuff I'm giving you. You're gonna tack on $5,000 just because you can.
Such a bad look.
Just because you can.
So your guys' issue is you just look petty and cheap. It's not the.
Well, it's just because you can. You know you can, and
There's
now
no
you're
doubt.
and it's
There's no
unheard
doubt.
of, though. Like, you just give me any walk of life where somebody makes you pay them to take a visit.
I gave you one. It's free agency in the NFL.
No, but they don't. They don't give them cash.
You're getting hung up on the cash, Lance.
Well, yeah, that's a big deal.
But here's this is happening in our world everywhere. Ticketmaster, when you go to Vegas in a hotel, these damn fees that they put on you, it's the same thing. And it pisses you all off, doesn't it? It pisses me off.
Yes.
Okay, I'm paying $200 for a pair of tickets. Oh, now I'm checking out and it's $295. Well, where's the $95? Oh, it's fees. Well, F you guys. I'll go to ATIX. I'll buy it from my freaking ATIX.
I know.
And I'll pay more. I'll pay more just because I know ATIX is giving me a price. I'm going to pay for it.
This is still...
And it's more than what I was going to pay at Ticketmaster. But you know what? I'm not going to be nickeled and dimed by your ass. And then I go to these casinos and these hotels in Vegas, and it's like, oh, here, it's $220 a night with your rewards, Jim, because you lose every time you come here. We'll give you one night free because you suck at gambling. Mm-hmm. Here you go. I get there, and then there's resort fees that is more than $220. And I'm like, that makes no sense to me. You're basically lying to me. You're just tacking on petty ass shit.
Well, it's these resort fees. I mean, that is ridiculous. But what I'm saying is, you say it's free agency in the NFL. Those guys are getting the great hotel rooms, the jets, all this stuff. But these recruits are getting the same thing at this level.
They are, but I'm just.
But can you imagine if you heard Christian McCaffrey was like, and we keep using him as an example, whoever, but they're like, hey, I'm going to come see the Browns. I'll come visit, but I'm going to need you to throw me an extra $50,000.
But my point is, if the Rams pay Christian McCaffrey, if their total bill for his visit is $25,000, and the total bill for the best prospects visit is $15,000, it's $10,000. Y'all could talk about cash or where you spend it, but it's $10,000. I mean, that's the difference. Is my point there, Lance?
I know, but one's a proven commodity.
Okay, that's fine, but that's not nobody coming to college football is a proven commodity.
It's not the dollar value. It is the fact that I'm doing all this other stuff.
That's what I'm saying. You guys are just saying you look cheap doing it. That's your issue.
I mean, you don't. Okay, I can do. I mean, I will give you $5,000 worth of food, or you can stay a whole week in the hotel for $5,000.
So you're
going to do all of this,
weird.
And it's what? No matter what I do for you, you're going to go on and give me $5,000 cash.
I'll tell you what I would do.
Okay.
Chris Kleiman has already said he's not interested in Michigan State.
Right.
If you love coaching
that was
football,
another thing I wanted to get to.
Okay, yeah. But I was just going to say, if I'm like the Nick Saban type and I love football, I'm going to one of those programs and I'm building it up, and I might never win a national championship, but I want my guys that are buying in, that aren't going to be transferring out, and maybe I'm living in an unrealistic world now, but I can't have guys saying it takes $5,000 to come to my campus.
Not a long discussion now, but LT brings it up. Chris Kleiman, I don't know who his representatives are, but they probably were upset with Chris Kleiman yesterday. But I appreciate what Chris Kleiman did. If you're representing Chris Kleiman, you want to play the game. You want to say, hey, Chris Kleiman's name is being mentioned at Michigan State. What are you going to do for me, Kansas State? Chris Kleiman, not that kind of guy. He comes out yesterday, zero interest. I am not interested in Michigan State. Zero. Don't mention my name. Don't put my name in your mouth. Michigan State and Chris Kleiman, we're not together. Doesn't help his negotiating with Kansas State if he ever needs to.
You're assuming a week from now we don't get the old Chris Kleiman extension announcement too.
Yeah, well,
let's wait and see.
Yeah, I think there are some good old boys that Chris Kleiman's making $5.5 million. I think there are some guys.
I think he just got the extension after going to the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys have made me a multi-millionaire. It's going to take care of my kids and my grandkids. I'm going to be loyal to this program. There's not a lot of loyalty out there anymore.
Now, if Nick Saban had walked away from Alabama and you mentioned me my name there, we're going to let this drag out a little bit. But Michigan State, no thank you. Our friends at NASCAR, we talked to them a little bit yesterday. They're racing this weekend over at Talladega. Campers are already out there. People watching is part of the weekend. Go enjoy that. Saturday's the truck race. Hardy's in concert Saturday night. Red is the song you were looking for yesterday. It's another one of his great songs. I was listening to it last night. He and Morgan Wallen. It's a lot of things, like a crushed Budweiser can in the ditch.
Right. It's a good song.
Faded red, and then blue, white, and red, the flag that he fought for. It's all right there in the song. It's all written by Hardy. He's in concert Saturday night. Sunday is the Yellowwood 500, another color, not red, Yellowwood 500. That's the Cup race. That's a playoff race for the best drivers in the world at the world's fastest speedway. You can get those tickets right now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Back in a moment. Including, listen, in life, you're in a certain situation sometimes that is more valuable than asking somebody for $5,000 extra dollars. If you're just a good person, it can pay off in the long run if you don't nickel and dime somebody. A great example of that with a photo from one of the greatest moments of our time together. It's all in the next segment right here on TNR.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
Drytech Water Restoration is a locally owned company that specializes in mold remediation, fire and water damage cleanup, and SteraMist services. Drytech's goal is to provide clients with expert guidance when dealing with any home disaster. Drytech's highly trained specialists are available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They will work closely with you and your insurance company to make sure the process is stress-free as possible. Call Drytech today, 205-637-0143. The moment you discover damage to your home, Drytech's team will handle the rest.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round. You've heard me for years talk about our friends at Bromberg's Jewelers, and we welcome you to stop by and see that great customer service at the Mountain Brook and Summit locations. But we'd also love for you to check out their new online shop. They've got plenty to choose from. Great gifts, big and small. Available online, they've got David Yurman, Tudor watches, select diamond and gemstone jewelry, William Henry, seasonal and favorite giftware items, and baby gifts as well. They've even got an online sale section. For more information, brombergs.com.
The Next Round Golf Cart is here. Your chance to play 4 area golf courses for just $89. Get 18 holes in cart at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. A $247 value for just $89. Get your golf cart now at nextround.store.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, and compression therapy all under one roof. It's our friends at HydroLive. Mention Next Round at checkout. Save 20% off any service. HydroLive's got 3 locations, Homewood, Tuscaloosa, and coming soon to Greystone.
Don't miss your chance to win at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Open 24/7, so come on in for non-stop gaming action. You'll find the latest, hottest, most exciting games around, and you'll love the fun bonuses and big jackpots. Plus, you can watch and wager on horse and greyhound races from all over the world. Your best bet for big wins is just minutes away at Birmingham Racecourse Casino, where you can be a winner too. Birmingham Racecourse Casino off I-459, exit 31 Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older.
There are so many things I love about walk-ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine, prepared fresh, daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 and Hoover with walk-ons. The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
Hey, on the show today, the great Buster Olney joins us at 10 o'clock. Buster will be with us, thanks to our friends at MyBookie. Roman Harper, usually in this segment, joins us tomorrow on the show, scheduling with his travel. Roman with us tomorrow. Buster at 10. Dan Orlovsky at 11 to start the final hour. Trent Dilfer to end the show. Everyone, Brownie, on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur is where you find Johnston RV Center. And you may be asking, what is the number 1 selling RV brand in the country? Well, it just so happens to be Cherokee. It is also the number 1 selling brand in Alabama, and Johnston RV is the leading dealer in Alabama for Cherokee. You can get them as low as $199 a month right there at Johnston RV Center. I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, and everything they sell, brand new, comes with a lifetime warranty. Anything they sell under 2 years old, used, lifetime warranty. You get it right there at Johnston RV Center. I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. Always online, JohnstonRVCenter.com.
My favorite moment in our show's history was when Brown paid off a stake bet. And his bet was he had to go to a MAC game middle of the week and get on television, and he dressed as Bob Ross to do it. There's some pictures from that. And it was a great moment in history. This week, there's a painting for sale. Bob Ross finished 1.1 a little over 1,000 paintings, 1.1K paintings, in 31 seasons of the joy of painting on public television. So just over 1,000 paintings he did. While he was on the show, he just basically scribbled them on, blah, 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 blah. But the very first painting he did, which was a stone walkway next to a pond with some trees, of which a volunteer at PBS, he gifted that to him.
Oh,
the
wow.
very first painting is up for auction this week.
I can't even imagine.
So valued at $9.85 million.
Do you know, is it the volunteer that got it is auctioning
I don't know if
it?
the volunteer that still has it or not, but that one that was gifted to the volunteer just for donating his time helping with PBS and the show. He didn't ask for it for $5,000.
I was about to say, do y'all have a problem with this one?
Yeah, he was gifted
It's a
to
gift that you're auctioning for $9 million?
All these years later, 31 seasons the Joy of Painting aired. Bob has since passed, hasn't he?
I believe he is no longer with us. Yes.
$9.85 million when it goes on auction this week. That's crazy. Is that not an amazing thing?
Yeah, I'm not surprised, though.
Yeah.
And you know it's a simple painting, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's nothing crazy about it except for the person that painted it.
Yeah, we got a very unique item coming up on Trash on the Table that just got auctioned off.
Yeah, so I thought that was a pretty interesting thing.
Do you have, seriously, and I'm not trying to go back to the first segment, do you have an issue with this, though? Like, it's a gift to you, and now you're going to auction it for $9.5 million?
No, Brown, it was a gift.
Okay, I'm just asking.
It's mine. It was a gift. I'm not holding anybody hostage.
What if it was
over
Christian McCaffrey?
Yeah, you don't have to put your hands in your armpits.
I am stewing about this.
I noticed, man. You got more fired up than I've ever seen.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. You think about a guy right now is working his ass off doing landscaping or laying bricks, and it will take him a month or 2 months to make $5,000.
That's right.
And now you want $5,000 to have the privilege to visit the greatest coach in the history of college football, and I'm just using Saban as that example,
right.
And to visit a beautiful campus, see the facilities, eat great, stay in a nice hotel, and you're going to get your lazy uncle to jack it up for $5,000 more.
Yeah.
It's pathetic.
I don't disagree with y'all. It does seem a little petty and cheap. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, you had something else you were going to add.
Well, I was just going to say, there's no stopping it. Obviously, if they're hitting Ohio State for $5,000, they're hitting everybody for $5,000, and there are desperate coaches out there trying to save their jobs. And if they think, like Arch Manning, don't you think any school in the country would have taken Arch Manning?
Yeah.
So if
Arch Manning's family had too much class.
But aside from that, no, that's not what I'm asking you. Aside from that, though, if you're a desperate football coach that needs to save your program, would you have paid $5,000 just to get him on campus in hopes you could convince him to come to your place?
I don't know.
Do you think a desperate coach would do that?
I mean, yeah. I mean, people are going to do it. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So now that the cart is out of the barn here, that one's never going back.
I'll do a lot for $5,000. I'm just saying, if I was in that spot, I hope that I wouldn't do it. I hope.
I like that you can't entirely rule it out.
Yeah, I can't.
Rockstar, let's do 4 downs here. Our friends at Slice brings you 4 downs every day. Great folks at Slice. Great place to grab a little lunch, a little dinner. Rockstar throws out 4 downs, non-sports related, every Thursday. Tell us about Slice, man.
4 great locations, the original in Lakeview, one in Vestavia, Montevallo, now Crestline Park. Local pizza, local ingredients. Get in and see the Bajalia Brothers and tell them the next round sent you.
First down.
What movie did you have zero expectations going in that you ended up loving?
A couple for me. Hot Tub Time Machine. We were so tired from walking the streets of Chicago, me and my ex-wife Bethany. We went back to the room, made a cocktail, got on pay-per-view, and decided to settle on Hot Tub Time Machine. And watching it again with Jack and Jace the other night, Jack was like, this is such an underrated comedy. So that one, and then a movie called Chef with John Favre and John Leguizamo, where he takes his kid out. He's a former chef, gets pissed off at a critic, decides to get a food truck, goes out, travels around with his kid. If you like food, if you're in the culinary, the restaurant business, any of that stuff, fantastic movie.
I know it sounds stupid now, but there are 2 of them that stick out, and the same incident happened both times for me. Titanic and Hangover, and I know they're both blockbusters now, but I thought they were going to be so cliche. And both times, Maggie left her phone at the restaurant we had eaten at before, and I had to get back into the car while she got our popcorn and stuff and drive back to the restaurant to get her phone and then come back to the theater. Missed back in the old days, they used to do these previews that were fantastic of upcoming movies, and I loved that part, and I would make it in both those nights right before. So I was not in the best frame of mind, but I thought the Titanic was going to be so cliche. I mean, the boat's going to sing, how good can it be? She wanted to see it, and we went on opening night. Hangover, opening night, drunk guys in Vegas, bachelor party, how cliche is this going to be? And I got in there, and both of them, of course, fantastic
I was going to
movies.
say the majority of answers were going to be comedy, I think, because you really don't. You have higher expectations in comedy than drama for some reason. Like, I'm not going to laugh at because
See, I don't. Yeah, because I think it's so difficult to do comedy. I mean, I think there's only like 15, 20 comedies I really like.
He said once at Titanic, I thought the boat would never sink. It did take a while to go.
We're in the Act 7 right now.
Yeah, I think we were in real time on that thing sinking. Mine was Shawshank Redemption, because I had no idea. Like, I can vividly remember being in the video store and the VHS cover had that famous photo of him. I didn't know what the movie was about. I didn't know it was a prison movie, a prison break. I didn't know anything really about the movie. I just knew it was on in theaters, and I had not seen it. So I rented it, and it's one of my favorite movies of all time. I mean, I had literally no expectations. Didn't even know what the movie was about.
Second down.
What are some things you are not buying now because the price has become too high?
New cell phones.
Yeah, I was about to say the new iPhone.
I'm always about 5 or 6 behind.
Yeah, I don't even know which one I've got.
I've got the 13, I think.
Yeah. I don't even know which one this is. It's got 2 cameras thing, so that may tell somebody what it is.
Yeah, that's
you go to your settings and it says. And
Yeah.
Is it the 15? Jason's like, the 15 comes out this week. And I'm like, I don't know what the hell it does.
Yeah, but there's
has better camera and better chip.
Yeah, see, that's the whole thing. They all got better cameras. I don't really need a better camera. This takes fine photos.
Titanium too, right?
Yeah, it's made out of titanium.
Yeah.
That's going to do a
exciting.
whole lot for me.
Where do I go to find out which one
Go
I
to your
have?
settings, general, and about.
But here's the thing is the ones they upgrade now, basically they don't do anything. Like, for a while, every time they would upgrade one, you're like, ooh, God, I do need that feature. But now they don't have any new features on them, really. I mean, what does the 15 do that mine doesn't?
Better camera,
Better camera.
chip,
Okay.
larger charge. Lasts like 20 more minutes.
Yeah,
this
don't
time.
care.
Brian in the Vulcan Tire and Automotive chat room is correct. It is recruits for me.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
13 Pro. That's what I've got.
Oh, Pro. Not just the 13, the Pro.
And the size of Auburn's stadium scoreboard, too. It's huge. It is
Third
huge.
down.
What is the most useless thing you still have memorized?
I did a play as a kid. Oliver, you guys probably are familiar with the musical.
Oliver and Company?
Yeah, no, the poor orphan. He takes
Oliver
to the
Twist?
streets of London. Yeah, but I was Fagin. Shockingly, I got stereotyped back as the bad guy.
Oh, no,
as
black
a
hat,
kid.
huh?
But I had to sing a solo, and I still remember that stupid ass solo.
We got some content coming up then.
If you want, would we get tagged if I
don't
go
know.
into my musical?
I don't know.
In this life, one thing counts. In the bank, large amounts. I'm afraid these don't grow on trees. You've got to pick a pocket or two.
That's really good.
When was this, at homework?
Yeah, I was like in 4th or 5th grade.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I was in
you could
Edgewood,
still
yeah.
remember that.
My phone number growing up.
Yeah.
Remember my locker combination for 6th grade?
No, you
Really?
don't.
I couldn't remember mine.
Damn, I still dream about not knowing my locker
I used to have that
combination.
recurring dream, too. What is it, Rocky?
43, 49, 25. This is my first locker. Like, because they had it, they put it on you. Like, if you forget this, you're never getting that again. So I remember, like, I had to study that night, memorize it. And that's the only locker combination I've ever remembered.
My best year in local TV was 1992 because I'd just come to Birmingham back from Lexington, Kentucky. And I was working with the great Ken Lass and Pam Huff and Gene Lively and all those people at NBC 13. And they switched that year to Alabama's 13, I think it was. And they got a new theme song that was specifically written for Channel 13. It was dun 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 dun. And I still remember that to this day.
That is weird. Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
I don't really remember that.
Yeah, that was,
Mine,
you don't. It was meaningless.
Yes,
That's true.
How many songs have we done since then?
Mine is all 50 state capitals. It's the weird, I don't even remember where I memorized them.
Odie's teaming trivia last night. There are 4 capitals that have city in the name.
4 capitals that have city. Oklahoma City.
Iowa City.
Nope. Des Moines is the capital of Iowa. Oklahoma City.
Carson City.
Carson City, Nevada.
Don't help him. He's supposed to know.
Well, I mean, I was going to get Carson City. I just got to go through. Huh?
Pell City. Keep going.
Salt Lake City in Utah.
Got one more.
And, I mean, I hate to have to run through these in my head.
You can come back to it. It's on the spot. I just thought you
Yeah,
might
it
know
is
that.
on the spot. Phoenix. I mean, let's move on. I'll come back to it, though.
Fourth down.
What is a lie you frequently tell yourself? Diet starts tomorrow?
Not really diet, but it is that I'm going to eat less candy and sweets. And I'm 47 now. I think I've lost that battle. Yeah.
I'm going to exercise early tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
What's the question again?
What's the lie? Okay. That you pay attention to the questions? What's the lie you frequently tell yourself?
For me, I think there's a couple. That everyone has some kindness in their heart. And then I'm going to limit myself to only drinking 3 nights a week.
Yeah.
It's just, I go to dinner and I'm like, I got a steak. I need a glass of wine. Or I've got, I went to Taco Mama last night and I got a taco bowl and I wanted one of the spicy margaritas.
Yeah, Jefferson City, Missouri, by the way.
Thank you, Brett. Yeah. Appreciate that. And anyone else over in the chat room.
Oh, there it is. Scott said Phoenix City.
I think it'd be easier for me to use the truths I tell myself than the lies. My life is a lie, Rockstar.
Oh, wow.
The entire life.
The imposter syndrome.
Yep.
That's 4 of them today.
Brought to you by our friends, The Slice. We appreciate them so much. And to the Moore's marinade, folks, Brownie. I used it 2 nights ago, Tuesday night. Yep, went by.
How'd it turn out?
Sent out a little video of me picking it off the shelf there.
Nice.
Bypassing all the others.
Did you do the marinade or the wing sauce?
The marinade. The
Moore's
marinade.
Look at you. Yeah. You can put that on anything.
I don't put the wing sauce on the steak, though.
Well, I didn't know that you were doing steak. You just said you used Moore's marinade. I didn't know what you were doing.
Put a little, originally the way it was planned, man. The little steak sauce on the side. Yeah,
that away. Moore's Marinade can make you that grilling hero right there in your backyard for this football season. The original marinade has lower sodium than the leading lower sodium marinade, but you don't lose any of the flavor. It adds a great boost to that delicious hickory flavor to whatever you're throwing on the grill. Burgers, chicken, steak, pork, even veggies. And don't forget that buffalo wing sauce I mentioned it on the way there. It adds the perfectly tangy flavor that will keep you licking your fingers even after the wings are gone. You can dip it, you can drizzle it, you can slather Moore's buffalo wing sauce on everything you eat. Chicken fingers, burgers, sandwiches, pizza, pasta, tacos, fries, and more. See why grill masters prefer Moore's marinades and wing sauces online. Moore'sMarinades.com. You can also get recipe ideas and grilling inspiration at Moore'sMarinades.com.
All right, 2 more things from my news email this morning, The Hustle, that blow my mind. Blow my mind. On this day in 1951, retailers got the first shipment of color TVs.
Who did?
Retailers.
Okay.
Retailers.
I thought you said retailer.
Retailers.
What's redoing with all those TVs?
You got to get read off your mind.
So that was like Sears and Roebuck and Woolworths.
Yeah. But only a short shipment went out until the U.S. government said we don't really want to ship color televisions during the Korean War. So they did not become widely available until late 1953 into 1954. So those were pretty good TVs that if you had a chance to buy them in 51, way ahead of time. Not a lot of color programming then. But in 1954, when they became readily available in a lot of the country, what do you think the price was? Now, by 1954 standards.
So this is a 1954 color television.
Yeah,
what
12-inch screen.
12-inch
is the only thing they were available.
Can't even buy those
So
anymore.
what year did Marty McFly go back in time?
55.
55.
Yeah.
They had a color, didn't they?
No,
they had a
Abbott
TV.
Costello.
Okay.
Yeah. He said it's
Now
a
we can watch the
rerun.
honeymooners while we eat.
12-inch color television in 1954.
Well, I mean, you got to consider inflation. So I'm going to say it would be $2,500 today, which back then was probably $500.
Yeah, I think it was probably $400.
Yeah.
Was $1,000 for a 12-inch television. You can get it. What'd you pay for your big 70?
I got a 75 LG, which I like the LG picture. I used to be a
ridiculous.
Samsung guy. I got it for $800.
$800 in 1954. In 1954, I don't know what $1,000 is now.
Well,
by
1954, $4 or $5 grand, I guess. I don't know.
Amazing. And just a normal 21-inch black and white television was going. The 21-inch was going for $400. That's how expensive TVs were back then. That's a ton of money. If you had a TV in the 50s,
You were rich.
You were rich.
Yeah, because Marty McFly said they had 2, and he said nobody's got 2 televisions.
You know we have 2 of them.
Yes.
No, he's
Boy,
just
if they
kidding.
saw our basements now.
Yeah.
I know.
Who the hell is
then
John
the
F.
other
Kennedy?
and then the other thing that blew my mind today. Does anybody know who Frank Rubio is?
Frank Rubio.
That name sounds familiar.
And Brownie, that is the problem.
What?
You can become the first to do something, but if you're doing it really out of the public eye, does it really matter?
He was the first serial killer.
No. He just got back to Earth after setting the U.S. record for 371 days in space at the International Space Station. Astronaut Frank Rubio back on Earth today after being there 371 days.
Matt Damon kills him. Matt Damon was like years in space.
In the 60s, you get a parade out of that.
But he's setting it up there going, man, this is such a big deal. I'm going to break the record. 307. I'm going to get a parade.
Yeah, nobody pays
Probably going to get $5,000 to visit Ohio State.
Didn't even know he was up there, Jim.
Is it Ricky Rubio's brother?
Frank Rubio. He comes back and nobody's there to even pick him up at the airport.
Do you think the first day you start thinking about what you're going to do the day you get out of space?
Yeah, I mean, 300. That's well over a year. A few days over a year.
Boy, if he's got I feel sorry for his woman at home if he's got one.
Meanwhile, John Glenn, all he did.
She knew he got there.
She's getting attacked.
Like John Glenn, basically, all he did was go up into orbit, circle the Earth one time, and come back.
It was
down.
like 20 minutes he was up there.
And we gave him a parade.
Yeah.
This guy, 371 days in space. Nothing for old Frank Rubio. Back in a moment right here on TNR. The show brought to you by Milo's. In fact, classic.
Let's have him on the show today, Frank Rubio. Nobody else is talking about it.
We get Frank Rubio on today. Milo's classic burgers, the talk of the town all the time. But if it's not enough, you can download the Milo's app. After your first purchase, you get the original cheeseburger for free. Stuff your face, earn free stuff. Download the Milo's app today. Love Milo's. Start earning rewards with Milo's.
Follow John Lunsford on Twitter @JLuntz.
Football season is here, and Legacy Credit Card is just what you need to manage your spending safely and wisely. Credit cards offer better consumer protection against fraud when compared to a debit card, which is linked directly to your bank account. Legacy offers rates as low as 8.9% APR on credit cards compared to major card providers who advertise rates as high as 29% APR. Look no further than Legacy. Open a credit card online in minutes at legacycreditunion.com/join. APR's annual percentage rate, rates, and offers subject to change. See website for details. Federally insured by NCUA.
The Next Round is so much more than the show you get from 9 to 1 each day. So make sure to head to our official YouTube channel @NextRoundLive and subscribe to get all of our latest content. We, of course, have plenty of specialty content and shorts based all around the sports in the heart of the SEC. But we also talk pro sports, gambling, lifestyle and entertainment, and so much more. It's the Next Round YouTube channel where you never know what you're going to find next. Subscribe now to see the latest content and get notifications when we go live. That's @NextRoundLive on YouTube.
There are so many things I love about walk-ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine prepared fresh daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got two great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 and Hoover with walk-ons. Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
The Next Round is brought to you in part by the biggest, baddest track in NASCAR, Talladega Superspeedway. This beast is 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and always puts on a great show for the fans. The Yellowwood 500 NASCAR Playoffs weekend is coming and you do not want to miss it. Saturday, September 30th is the Craftsman Truck Series Playoffs race, followed by Sunday's Yellowwood 500 and the NASCAR Cup Series Playoffs. Be there to see drivers battle 500 miles to survive. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Hey, Ryan Brown here from The Next Round. Do you want to help pay for my kids' college and look great while you're doing it? You need to go to The Next Round store. Everything from hats to short sleeve and long sleeve t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, zip-up hoodies, and much more. And we're adding new things all the time. Why would you not want to see my kids get a great college education and look great out in the public while you're doing it? Get the gear we wear all the time on the show, and there's only one place to get it. NextRound.store. That's NextRound.store.
couple of college football quarterback comments right after LT tells us about our friends at Harbin's Outdoors, the wonderful folks who are about to change his backyard.
Yeah, got to get it ready for a bullet and chili when they roll home on Monday. Jeremy Harbin is the guy I called. He's already done some work out there before. He's doing some work for the Corns. Again, one-stop shop. Wish I had him back in the day when we built the original pool over a decade ago. Again, Harbin's, you can check them out on Instagram, see the great work for yourself. At Harbins_outdoors. Jeremy and his team, one-stop shop for your pool construction needs. They do it all from the install to the lighting, final hardscapes around the pool, everything in between. Call or text Jeremy directly for that estimate, 205-300-0718. That's 205-300-0718.
Texas A&M's 3-1 coming off the 27-10 win over Auburn. They're playing Arkansas neutral site game. Connor Wegman, we told you yesterday, out for the season most likely with a broken bone. Max Johnson starting. He's 2-0 as a starter for Texas A&M. Has never lost as a starter.
Yeah, and yesterday on Spitting Lugs, Tom Luganbill gave his opinion of Max Johnson.
You can get that at Disrupt the Media. Disrupt the Media. Go like and subscribe on that YouTube channel to get all our bonus content when we're done every day at 12 o'clock. Look forward to watching Spitting Lugs today. Iowa quarterback, tell me if this is a drive-by on Brian Ferentz or not, the OC. Iowa quarterback Cade McNamara yesterday at Iowa's media day. It's clear I'm not calling plays. I'm just going to run the plays that are called.
Yeah, I saw him say it too.
Yeah.
I saw the video of it, and it kind of looked like after he said it, he realized what he had just said.
Yeah. It's obvious I'm not calling plays. Yeah. I'm just going to run the plays that are called.
And Cade said that.
Cade McNamara, your starting quarterback.
Yeah, well, Cade hadn't been good, by the way. I know he's been a little banged up since week one. I don't know. That Iowa offense is a mess. You just wonder until you get a complete change at the top. And I've got this assumption, this is Kirk's last year. I don't know how you guys feel about that because it looks like Brian's going to get forced out. So I think there's going to be a complete makeover.
If I'm an Iowa fan, I would want that. The guy's done a lot for my program, but he's also been very stubborn in this aspect, and it's cost me games.
Do you bring back, not that the offense is exciting at all, do you bring back Brett Bielema, though?
He is an Iowa guy, right? Yeah, that would be, Illinois slipping a little bit this year.
I was going to say, has he done enough at Illinois to sell you on that?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I think Iowa's a better program.
Marginally. Illinois, yeah, but is Brett Bielema a good enough coach to take Iowa? I think is what Brown is asking.
He dominated. No, I didn't want to. Let me pull that back. He did a B+, A- job at Wisconsin.
Yeah, but what's he doing at Illinois now?
Yeah, and I guess the question would be,
last year was good.
Just because I'm at Iowa, do I have to run this plotting farm boy offense? I mean, could I at Iowa put in a high-powered offense that might be what the rest of college football is doing?
I mean, Kansas has got one right now.
I mean, what's the difference, right?
Alabama found their offense second half, 3 straight scoring drives led by Jalen Milroe. Here's Jalen talking about Bama's trip over to Starkville to play Mississippi State.
Last time you guys were at Mississippi State, you were behind Bryce in that environment with the cowbells and everything. Yeah. How helpful is that? I know you speak very highly of Bryce.
Yeah.
How helpful is that you were at that game, watching how he did it, and it was an impressive win that night for Alabama?
Right. So Bryce did a lot of good things for us while he was there at quarterback. And the one thing that I truly admired while he was here was how poised he was and confident he was, no matter the circumstance, whether it's a home game, away game. He was always confident, and then his leadership was key. Bryce had great leadership while he was here. And for me, outside looking in, that's some things that is going to allow us to grow as an offense, allow us to succeed, whether it's a away game, a home game. I think leadership is key, and then also just acknowledging what's at hand, especially going on the road or a tough environment with the kettlebells that you mentioned. I think that's key. I think that's key to allow us to grow and get us to succeed on that weekend.
Hydrolife brings you the sound of the day from Tuscaloosa. Jalen Milroe talking about those kettlebells as he heads over there. Cowbells,
Chance Hydrolife might be in studio with us tomorrow. Big weekend coming up.
You got a big party weekend coming up.
Got to pregame a little bit. IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, compression therapy. It's all under one roof. They're open 7 days a week. 2 locations in Birmingham, the newest location in Hoover, 1 in Homewood, open 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day. But guess what? If you can't make it to Hydra Live, a nurse can actually come to your place of business or your home. You can go online, hydralifetherapy.com. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Hydra Life Therapy. And remember, mention Next Round at checkout, 20% off any of the great services from our friends at Hydra Life.
So in the SEC, Mississippi State, and Matt Wyatt pointed this out when he was on the show Tuesday, their 2 games in the SEC, 37 of 31, 367, 2 touchdowns, no picks. 20 of 18, 288, 3 touchdowns, no picks.
That's pretty strong.
If you're Jalen Milroe, you ought to be salivating for this game Saturday night. I don't know what your expectation is for him. And look, Jaden Daniels and Spencer Rattler are good quarterbacks, right? I mean, those are the 2 quarterbacks that I just referenced there. I don't think anybody's going to argue that Milroe is in their class right now. But, I mean, if Milroe's ever going to have a good game passing from start to finish, Saturday should be the one based on the way they've been playing.
I didn't see this from Mississippi State. I really didn't know what we were getting offensively, and the offense has been like this. But I thought the defense would be solid under Zach Arnett.
Yeah, and it's not there.
No.
Well, when you're a defensive-minded coach and you become the head coach, you were the defensive coordinator, those things can slip through the cracks while you're doing other things. I don't know how you're feeling about Florida-Kentucky this weekend, the 11 a.m. straight out of game day game. Gators in Lexington to play the Wildcats. But keep in mind, a couple of key guys coming back for the Gators. Kingsley Egwalken is the center who started 13 games 2 years ago at center, 13 games last year at center, and missed the Utah game. He's missed 3 or 4 games this year. He's back and healthy playing for Florida this weekend. And they get Trey Wilson back at wide receiver. He had 4 catches on the first drive in the upset over Tennessee. Got hurt in the first half, didn't come back. He's back this week for Florida. Got a feel on that one yet?
Yeah, it's a tough game. I brought up that this is the first time in 35 years Kentucky's been favored in this game. It's dropped from Kentucky 2.5 to 1.5. Ray Davis has been great, leading the SEC with 7 touchdowns for the Wildcats. And on the other side, we didn't know what to expect from Graham Mertz, but this is exactly what Billy Napier wanted from Graham Mertz. He's completing 78% of his passes. That leads the leads the SEC, and I think he's 4th in the FBS.
Their only loss on the road at Utah to start the season. Utah may be just that good, especially defensively, and Florida may be a better team than we initially thought on that first night there. Buster Olney joins us in the next segment to talk everything going on in baseball, including the slipping Cubs, who are trying to hold on to playoff hopes. As we head to break here, Forster, give me that great picture from, I think you got it from Pro Football Focus. I don't know who took it, but a little sportsmanship shown here. Give me Forster's. Do we know where this came from? This is Travis Hunter and Henry Blackburn meeting after the late hit by Blackburn lacerated the liver there of Travis Hunter. The two get together. They exchange some words and greetings and forgiveness. And as the plan says right there, as the social media post says right there, God has a bigger plan. Those two together, great sportsmanship. We'll talk to Buster when we come back right here on TNR.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, and compression therapy, all under one roof. It's our friends at Hydra Live Therapy. IV therapy treatments are packed with nutrients to increase energy, reduce stress and anxiety, and boost your immune system, and more. If you mention The Next Round at checkout, save 20% off any service. You can join the IV League today. Members are rewarded with deep discounts. Make sure you ask about that. Hydra Life Therapy open 7 days a week. Homewood, Tuscaloosa, and coming soon to Greystone.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Want more of The Next Round? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast. The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
The next round brought to you by the biggest and baddest track in NASCAR, the Talladega Superspeedway. The Yellowwood 500 NASCAR Playoffs weekend is coming up. You don't want to miss it. The action kicks off Saturday, September 30th with the Craftsman Truck Series Playoffs race, all leading up to the NASCAR Cup Series Playoffs on Sunday, October the 1st. Be there to see these drivers battle for 500 miles to survive and advance to the next round of the playoffs. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Again, that is TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. As summer starts to fade, get ready to welcome the arrival of fall. But hey, it's not just football season making an entrance. In the world of pest, it's fall invader season. Hold on tight because we've got 4 major troublemakers stepping into the spotlight. Box elder bugs, kudzu bugs, ladybugs, and stink bugs. These pests don't just knock, they barge in like they own the place. But fear not, dial up Wayne's Pest Control now, 865-588-6686, and let's show those fall invaders who's boss. Don't let pests crash your party. Take charge today.
You hear a lot of interesting phrases while playing golf, like, I think you're on the beach, or the classic, you gotta hit it, Alice. One word you're sure to hear right now at Bentbrook Golf Club is wow. Brand new carts with complimentary GPS, and the bent grass greens are so consistent, you just might drain a few more putts, Alice. Tee it up and find out for yourself. Book around today at bentbrook.com or call 428-1999. It's better at Bentbrook.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Bud Light game night tonight at Overtime Bar and Grill just off Lakeshore I-65. Come out and hang out with us 5 to 7 Central, 6 to 7 on our video platform as Lance and Lance's Lock get you ready for the weekend of football. Baseball last night, Ronald Acuna. I don't know what it's like being in a club by yourself, but he is. The 40-70 club as the Braves win again. Let's talk baseball with Buster Olney.
Yeah, Buster is with us every week, courtesy of mybookie.ag. Don't forget code next round to get that sign-on bonus this week only of 110% of your initial deposit. You heard me right. You deposited 110% sign-on bonus at mybookie.ag, literally free money. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. Mybookie.ag, all of that with code next round. Buster is on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. What is going on, Buster? How are you today?
Oh, not much. Just sorting through my possible travel, which got narrowed down, it felt like, significantly as we look at the possibility of the Marlins being in the playoffs, the Cubs being out of the playoffs. That was an intense day of baseball yesterday. A lot of fun.
Well, it was wild. I know we want to talk to you about Acuna because it's an amazing accomplishment, but the other story in this series are the Cubs, who have had 2 absolutely heartbreaking losses that they absolutely cannot afford.
And you know what's crazy about it is that when the year started and you talk to Cubs people, they would say, yeah, okay, we have questions about our offense. We don't know what Cody Bellinger's going to bring. As the year goes along, we'll see how the bullpen goes. But we know this, we should catch the ball pretty well. We should be a really good defensive team.
Wow.
And generally speaking, during the year, that has been the case. Like, statistically, they've been one of the best teams in baseball with Dansby at shortstop and Nico Horner at second base and Bellinger and Ian Happ. And yet down the stretch, as the Cubs have been trying to put themselves in position to make the playoffs, their defense has failed them over and over and over again. You know, Seiya Suzuki with that easy fly ball that he misplayed the other night. Last night, Nico Horner with that throw to second base. I mean, it's just making them pull their hair out. And you do wonder, you know, at this point, they've lost so many opportunities to essentially close on a playoff spot. Now they've got one more game left with the Braves. Then they play the Brewers, who will effectively, essentially dictate who they will play in the first round, it appears, because the Marlins, as of today, are tied with the Cubs. The Marlins hold the tiebreaker. And if that remains over the weekend, that means the Brewers, if they can beat the Cubs over the weekend, will essentially knock the Cubs out of the playoffs. And then they would host the Marlins in that wild card round next week.
Now to Ronald Acuna. Yeah, when you're in a club by yourself in the history of Major League Baseball, that's pretty incredible. 2 stolen bases last night. Now the first player in MLB history to hit at least 40 home runs, steal 70 bases. We know he's the MVP. But, I mean, this is something, as a kid, 61 was that number that I always watched. I never really thought about a 40 and 70 because it didn't make sense. I just thought we would never have one of these guys.
No, and I loved his interview after the game. I don't know if you guys saw it, but it really struck me when, through an interpreter, he said, it makes me really happy to create the 40-70 club. And that's fair, right? That's exactly what he did. You're right. That wasn't something that you started the year where you're wondering about, okay, who's going to be the guy to go 40-70? Ronald Acuna Jr. created that, which is why I think that when the MVP ballots are cast, and among the 6 major awards, this is the only one I think at this point is in question. When that voting is announced, I think Mookie's Betts is going to get a lot of support, in part because of his defense, but I think Ronald Acuna Jr. is going to win it in a landslide.
Buster, there are many people in the chat room that wanted us to ask you about the Cubs announcers' reaction. I think they were a little bit upset that the game stopped as long as it did during the 10th inning. It was a critical time in the game. I don't know how you don't stop it, though. I mean, like you said, this is something that has never happened. Did you see any issue with how the Braves handled that?
No, not at all. And I know the Cubs announcers are good friends, and I get it. The Cubs are in a big moment. And there may have been Cubs after the game. I don't know this for sure. There may have been Cubs after the game who were kind of griping about what happened. You know what? Catch the ball then, right? Put yourself in a better position. They could have ended the game. They could have ended the race, days ago. And it was a big moment. And it was something, and you could see right away what it meant to Ronald Acuna Jr. to be able to do this. So I had no problem with it. And I am curious. I'm sure I'll bump into those guys, some of the Cubs announcers later, and just get their perspective on why they thought what they thought. But I think Ronald Acuna Jr. has earned that. The Braves have earned that. And the Cubs have earned that situation where the other team is celebrating on the field an accomplishment because they didn't take care of business.
Chances are that was Boog calling you up right there, wasn't it? Saying, be careful, be careful what you say about me. Hey, part of that intense day of baseball was the Astros and Mariners, and rarely do you get an opportunity to knock out a team that could win it all. And I felt like it was there for the taking to keep the Astros from being in this postseason tournament. But they have survived Seattle and looking to be in a good position.
And it's not a surprise. I've been talking to you guys about this in recent weeks. It's not a surprise to me that the Astros got jazzed once the game started to matter. I've talked to some Astros players about this. I felt like they've gotten bored with the regular season because they've been in the postseason so often. 6 straight years in the American League Championship Series. So regular season games don't have as much juice. And one of the players said to me, look, people wonder why we're under 500 at home. That might be one of the reasons why. And so it's not a surprise that when they play a meaningful game, they fall behind last night with Framber Valdez on the mound, and right away they respond with 4 runs. It's like if you get the Astros' attention, you put them on a big stage, all that experience is going to manifest, which is why even if they get into the playoffs as the 6th seed, to me, they're the team to beat. I've told you guys that the team that they remind me of are these Yankee teams that won back-to-back titles in the late 90s. Paul O'Neill, the right fielder on that team, told me if the Astros get into the playoffs, that's the team that he would pick to get through into the World Series because of that experience. And that really seemed to show the last, during this series against the Mariners.
It never disappoints on how unpredictable Major League Baseball is. But one of your colleagues, Kylie McDaniel, wrote a piece today, and just the headline is $880 million, 0 playoff games, why the Mets, Yankees, and Padres became 2023's big money disappointments. I don't know if you can cliff note this for us, but what happened to those were 3 teams that you could almost book being in the postseason this year back in April.
Yeah, and in each case, I think the answers are a little bit different. I think in the case of the Yankees, there really is something to the fact that they were undercut by this wave of injuries. And maybe they're picking the wrong players. Maybe they're making too many bets on like Carlos Rodon, who, this left-handed pitcher who has a long injury history, and he got hurt again this year. But I do think injuries are at the root of what's going on there. And by the way, with their win last night, the Yankees extended the streak that they've gone without a losing season to 31 years.
Wow.
So that's a remarkable accomplishment. The Mets, I asked that question to Justin Verlander a few weeks ago when I was in the Astros clubhouse, and he shook his head. It felt like that the Mets season really began to crumble that moment that Edwin Diaz blew out his knee celebrating in the World Baseball Classic, because from that point forward, Diaz, Verlander, Scherzer, there was a series of injuries and lack of performance from some of their position players that took them down. And for me, the Padres, if the Angels are the most dysfunctional organization of baseball, and I think that's been clearly established, the Padres are somewhere in the top 5. They have all these great stars. Juan Soto can really play, but now their ownership is talking about potentially cutting their payroll back to $200 million, which would almost certainly mean they have to trade Juan Soto this winter. It would take them out of the Ohtani sweepstakes this winter. Massive change coming in San Diego. And a lot of people wondering if manager Bob Melvin and general manager A.J. Preller can coexist. They barely communicate, from what I've been told.
Buster with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline is presented each week by MyBookie.ag. When you use code NEXTROUND this week, and this week only, we're told, 110% sign-on bonus. You make that initial deposit. They match it 110%. Free money from MyBookie.ag. That's only when you use code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag. This is the time of year, I think the last road trip, sometimes, Buster, you see some of these costume-themed road trips. You tell me you've got a good story about the Dodgers.
Yeah, so the other day we had the Dodgers on Sunday Night Baseball, and as we're talking with Dave Roberts, I looked behind him, and there's a box on top of a file cabinet, and on top of the box is a big white cowboy hat. And I was like, Doc, what is that about? And he goes, well, we got this costume theme coming up, and it's going to be our prime trip. They're all getting dressed up with Deion Sanders inspired gear. You've got a lot of this coaching staff, and it was their idea initially. They're getting dressed up as assistant coaches with gold whistles. They've got a security detail that's going to be there with Colorado hoodies. You got players getting involved. And, of course, the guy who's playing prime is Dave Roberts, who's going to have that big cowboy hat, sunglasses, the whole thing. This idea really popped up a few weeks ago as Colorado was coming into prominence, and Deion Sanders getting a lot of attention. And I will tell you this too: people in baseball, because of Deion's time as a two-way star, they view Deion as one member of their fraternity. Like, they really like him and respect him. Guys like Buck Showalter telling me yesterday, what a great guy Deion was when he was playing the minor leagues with the Yankees.
If the Dodgers pitching doesn't get healthy in time for the playoffs, they may start giving up runs like Colorado gives up points in college football
Wow,
games.
there you go.
One thing before you go, Terry Francona means so much to this city. He was with the Barons for 3 years. He managed Michael Jordan, and what a great moment. I didn't know this until I was watching something on him yesterday on, I believe it was the Major League Baseball Network. He won the Golden Spikes Award and played at Arizona and won the national championship back in the early days of ESPN when I would watch that event on television from Omaha in 1980. This is a true baseball lifer that's hanging it up.
That's exactly right. Born in the same town in South Dakota, I believe, as Cal Ripken was, or Cal Ripken Sr., spent his whole childhood with his dad, who was a big leaguer at ballparks. And as time went on, he was probably the first to realize he was not going to be a star in the big leagues. He was actually studying to possibly become a real estate broker. And then he was offered an opportunity to coach, and he grabbed onto it. And it's been very interesting to hear perspective of guys that he played with back in the day, where they say they couldn't imagine Tito as a manager. And yet what became true is that I think Tito was one of the first in Major League Baseball player managers. But here's the difference between Tito and a lot of the guys who do that. He also, there's a hard line, a hard expectation of how hard you should play and how you should conduct your business. And universally, someone who in the sport is liked and is, I think, really cherished for his sense of humor and the way that he gets the best out of people. And, he's been in so much pain in recent years. I'm glad for him that he can get off his feet more and enjoy retirement. He's got 3 years to prepare his Hall of Fame speech in Cooperstown in 2026.
That's what I was going to ask. So he's a slam dunk Hall of Famer.
No doubt. Yeah, 100%. I mean, if you're the manager of the Boston Red Sox when they win the first World Series since 1918, that's a big step. And think how close he was to becoming the first Cleveland manager to win a World Series since the 1940s when they came within one inning of it back in 2016.
I wonder if there's a chance Michael Jordan introduces him for that speech 3 years from now.
I would be willing to bet that Michael Jordan is going to be at the Hall of Fame speech because he and Tito have a running banter. You know, when I worked with Tito on Sunday Night Baseball, because he's not someone who's going to come up and say, guess who just texted me? I'd say, so have you heard from Michael? And he'd go, yeah. And you could see the relationship between the two of them when that documentary on Jordan came out a couple of years ago, when they're asking Tito, who was his manager, about Jordan's time as a baseball player.
Buster, before you go, I do not want to hem you in with a question, so I'll just leave it open-ended. You covered the Orioles for many years, knew Brooks Robinson and the impact he had on baseball. I would just like to give you some time to talk about the late Brooks Robinson.
Yeah, so I covered them for 2 years. I did not cover him, but he was around the team from time to time. And, most of what I know about him, I heard from guys like Jim Palmer and Mike Flanagan and Boog Powell, Rick Dempsey, people who just cherished him, not only because he was the greatest defensive third baseman in the history of baseball. And if you guys, this week had a chance to see those highlights from the 1970 World Series when he dominated the Reds with his glove, go and find those. But what people would always say about him is that, he's a Hall of Fame player, but he's an even better person. Incredibly warm, incredibly gregarious. When I was talking with Buck Showalter earlier this week, he mentioned to me about how when he managed the Orioles, he brought Brooks in, all the players responding to him. It feels like everybody's got a story of Brooks sending them a signed baseball, a signed shirt with a warm message specific to them. That's the way he lived his life. And I'm trying to remember who it was. It was Mike Boddicker, the former Orioles pitcher, who said the three best people that he met in his lifetime. One of them was Buck O'Neill, the former Negro League player who worked for the Kansas City Royals, and another was Brooks Robinson. That's how much he was revered within the sport.
Wow, that's amazing. Buster, thank you very much for the time. Safe travels. We will see you next Thursday.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me. Always fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Take care. Buster with us. Courtesy of MyBookie.ag. That 110% sign-on bonus still there at MyBookie.ag when you use code NEXTROUND all week long. Code NEXTROUND. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. It all starts back tonight with football. MyBookie.ag. Code NEXTROUND. Make sure to use that code to get 110% of your sign-on bonus. Buster and the gang on the road, as he said, trying to find the bigger games and leave it a little bit open-ended there and obviously into the playoffs. My bathroom at my house was redone by A-Plus Tile and Home Remodeling. It is my man Brad Bell. Scott is showing you the before photos of my bathroom. This is how we bought it back in 2015. It's not a terrible bathroom, I get that, but it's not what we wanted. We lighter colors there. We kind of wanted the darker tones. So my wife scoured the internet. She found Brad Bell and hired him to do the job, and I am so glad we did. The price was amazing, first of all. The work was amazing. Clean, efficient, timely crews, and the bathroom just looks great, man. I love going in there. Master bath and kitchen is where you're going to make your money back when you sell your house. You can remodel a lot of things in your house, but if you really want to make it pay, master bath and kitchen, and that just so happens to be Brad's expertise. He does both those, master bath and kitchen. In fact, Lance liked the work he did in our house so much, he hired him at his house. And as you could see from the photos Scott's showing you, Brad's not just some cookie cutter guy. Lance had the exact opposite, a darker bathroom. He wanted lighter. So Brad did that. That just shows you Brad's going to do it the way you want it done, all right? But he's going to do it the right way. Here is the number to call Brad Bell. It is A-Plus Tile Home Remodeling. It's the guy I suggest you use, and I know Lance would as well. 205-422-1758. Anywhere in the state of Alabama, he can help you. 205-422-1758. Brad Bell, A-Plus Tile Home Remodeling.
And also by our friends at NASCAR Racing coming back to Talladega this weekend. Get your tickets, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Awesome opportunity to see the world's greatest drivers on the world's fastest speedway. Saturday's the Truck Series, Hardy in concert Saturday night. Your Sunday race ticket gets you in to see Hardy Saturday night. That Sunday is the Yellowwood 500 playoff race for the Cup guys. It is TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. superspeedway.com for our friends at NASCAR. Before we get back into football, our stock report in the next segment, and college football the rest of the way out. Dan Orlovsky talking a little bit about the NFL game at 11, Trent Dilfer with UAB at 11:45. There was a big trade in the NBA yesterday where Damian Lillard ends up with Milwaukee. It instantly moves Milwaukee from 4th in betting in Vegas to win next year's championship, but paired with Giannis now as the betting favorite to win next year's NBA championship. What do you think of the 33-year-old Dame ending up in Milwaukee?
I mean, I think it's huge for Dame. You know, demanded he wanted out back in July. They finally make this blockbuster deal. And Milwaukee, I'm not surprised they're the best team, or at least viewed as the best team going into the 2023-2024 season. I mean, Giannis is still a top 5 player. Dame is still a top 10 to 15 like player. You pair those guys together, this offense is going to be outstanding for Milwaukee.
We'll give you our Redmont look at tonight's football action in just a second. But let me remind you that our man Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing can get on your roof right now. Listen, some of these companies will use these drones and fly them up there. But when it comes to getting it done right, you need the man, Greg from Pell City, to get up that ladder, get up there and check your shingles, see if any of them are bent, loose. It takes something just as simple as that to get a little water entry point, and then it's a crap show up there. It's going to cost you thousands of dollars worth of water damage inside. A free no-cost roof inspection, no cost, no obligation with Greg from Pell City can save you thousands and thousands of dollars just by letting that man get up on the roof. That's Greg from Pell City, 205-542-3531, 205-542-3531. You see the number on the screen if you're watching us. He and his wife own the company, locally owned for over 20 years, A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. It's Greg from Pell City on Facebook and Storm Restoration Roofing. 2 college games tonight, Jack State, Sam Houston State, 7 o'clock ESPNU. Middle Tennessee and Western, 6:30, CBS Sports Network. But the NFL game, Lions and Packers, 7:15 on Prime. The Packers were down and out. Was that the last game? It was 17-0. They went on an 18-point run at home to get the victory. How does the Packers hold up against Aiden Hutchinson's pursuit tonight of Jordan Love? Love looked good at the end to save the win, but it's a different pass rush coming tonight.
Well, it is, but I still think on the back end, the Lions have a little bit of problems. You're getting Christian Watson back. You're getting Aaron Jones back from that hamstring injury. So big weapons coming back for Jordan Love. On the other side, it doesn't look like David Montgomery's going to play. Jahmyr Gibbs could be the difference in this game tonight for Detroit.
They seem to be struggling on
trying to figure out
how to get him the ball and use him in their offense.
You don't need to struggle tonight with it. You just got to get the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
Are you a little surprised Lions are a road favorite this big? 2.5 point favorite.
I don't know if you guys remember a day where it was Aaron Rodgers against Matt Stafford.
I do remember that, yes.
And Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers completely dominated that rivalry. What's nuts is Detroit is now looking for 4 straight wins over Green Bay.
And everybody remembers the last one, right? It was the one right there at Lambeau Field last year when the Lions really had nothing to play for and the Packers had everything to play for. The Lions won that game.
Yeah, and the Lions win that game. Aaron Rodgers' last game as a Packer. He walks off the field, no postseason. And now we're talking about a Lions team that has won 5 consecutive North games, NFC North games. This would be a record for them if they're to win 6 consecutive North games, which doesn't sound like a big feat, especially in the NFC North.
It is for the Lions.
But for the Detroit Lions, it is. This could be an interesting game. It looks like Taylor Decker is going to be back at left tackle for the Lions, which is big, because then Penei Sewell you'll put back on the right side. So the offensive line should be back whole for Detroit, which is good for Jared Goff, who's been really good so far this year.
And the other thing here is, I mean, if you look at the rest of that division, you got 2 0-3 teams that are going nowhere fast. So one of these 2 teams is very likely going to win this division. This game could be critical in the long run.
Yeah, I thought Jahmyr Gibbs was going to be great so far. I still think he's got an opportunity to do that. Sam Laporta has been the rookie, though, for Detroit that has really showed out. This is going to shock you guys, Iowa tight end that has massive production once he gets to the NFL.
I can't wait to see that one tonight, 7:15. We'll be at Bud Light Game Night, 5 to 7. Talking about that, you can get all your plays at lanceslock.com. That's our Redmont look ahead to tonight's game, brought to you by our friends at Redmont Vodka.
Yeah, we had our friend Chuck on yesterday. Charles Barkley, one of the great faces behind Redmont Vodka, locally owned and operated. It's 8 times distilled. It's gluten-free. It's a fantastic product. Pick up a bottle. Ask for it by name if they don't have it at your local restaurant or bar. Tell them to get it. It's available in 22 states. It is Redmont Vodka.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
If you're looking for a fun golf atmosphere that is laid back with a peaceful environment, the Meadows Golf Course in Harpersville, right off of Highway 280, is perfect for you. Just a short drive from Birmingham, this 18-hole, 200-acre track with rolling fairways and ample greens is the definition of peacefulness of the country just miles from the city. Enjoy a great lunch before your round and a cocktail on the wraparound porch after 18. Come see us today. The Meadows Golf Course in Harpersville, right off of Highway 280. As summer starts to fade, get ready to welcome the arrival of fall. But hey, it's not just football season making an entrance. In the world of pest, it's fall invader season. Hold on tight because we've got 4 major troublemakers stepping into the spotlight. Box elder bugs, kudzu bugs, ladybugs, and stink bugs. These pests don't just knock, they barge in like they own the place. But fear not, dial up Wayne's Pest Control now, 865-588-6686, and let's show those fall invaders who's boss. Don't let pests crash your party. Take charge today. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at New Life Art. Daniel A. Moore has completed his original full-color oil painting honoring Bryce Young, Alabama's 4th Heisman Trophy winner. This painting depicts the memorable Heisman-worthy go-ahead pinpoint pass to John Mechie in the corner of the end zone as the Tide dismantled the vaunted Georgia defense in the SEC championship game this past year. Use code TNR for 15% off. You can order online at danielmooreart.com.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round. You've heard me for years talk about our friends at Bromberg's Jewelers, and we welcome you to stop by and see that great customer service at the Mountain Brook and Summit locations. But we'd also love for you to check out their new online shop. They've got plenty to choose from. Great gifts, big and small. Available online, they've got David Yurman, Tudor watches, select diamond and gemstone jewelry, William Henry, seasonal and favorite giftware items and baby gifts as well. They've even got an online sale section. For more information, brombergs.com. Spring weather is here, and our friends at Hemphill Services are offering a $69 HVAC tune-up plus 10% off any service call when you mention the Next Round. Call Adam, Chad, and the guys at Hemphill Services. Make sure your HVAC unit is ready to keep up with the changing weather. Hemphill Services, locally owned and operated independent train dealer. The team can service all makes and models. For all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs, call Hemphill Services. It's hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com. That's 205-229-2090, hemphillservices.com.
Back with you on the Next Round show, being brought to you in part by our Michelson Laser Vision. Our Michelson Look Back Rockstar is cut number 4. Charles Barkley, yesterday here on the show. This got some national play. Most people actually gave us credit for it. I heard there were some people writing and talking about it, not mentioning the Next Round. I couldn't find those people. I went looking. Where do
we get credit?
I was going to go Taylor Korn.
Are you going to get on them?
I was going to go all little T on them, but I couldn't find anybody who wasn't giving us credit. Saturday Down South was giving us credit. AL.com was giving us credit. Sports Illustrated, CBS, everywhere I found it being talked about, they were giving us credit and had links in there, which I always love.
Dunaway Digest?
Dunaway Digest may be on Friday coming up. But here's what Barkley said on our show yesterday that got a little national love.
I'm all in on Coach Freeze. Now, I will say this. If y'all going to be down there baptizing people, please pray for us better quarterback play. Let's get these 3 quarterbacks and baptize them, and maybe the Lord can make them play better, because the one thing you can't do as a coach, you can't have your quarterback playing scared. That's the most important position in sports, but the number one thing you have to have as a player is confidence in yourself to make good plays and bad plays. If you are scared to make bad plays, You can't make good plays.
Yeah. Interesting stuff there. Brought to you by our friends at Michelson. Our look back to yesterday's show.
205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. She's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. Again, I got the procedure done over 2 decades ago. I've still got 2015 vision, better than 2020. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
There is no doubt that Peyton Thorne, as that pressure ratcheted up from the Texas A&M defense, got afraid to make plays. He would not let the ball go. His eyes were not downfield. He was looking at the pass rush. There were times where, I mean, it was almost like he was just, shielding himself from the hit before the hit even got there. He was a mess in that game.
I've got just pure speculation. His haircut is so bad. Like, I don't know if you guys, I don't know if you guys ever saw the Saturday Night Live skit with MC Hammer where they had bad haircuts. It was like a AA meeting where they were all in a circle and they all had terrible haircuts. Yeah. Peyton Thorne would have been in that circle. So maybe if he just shaves it off, cuts. Do you have a picture?
Is there a picture reference somewhere of this said haircut?
I've never thought it was that bad. I mean, it's just he's got some curls and he's he's got a healthy head of hair.
It's got he's got a combination of the mullet with the old baz on the sides cut above the ears.
The shaved with the stuff on top.
No, he doesn't.
Oh yeah, he does.
You've fallen for some.
I was watching the game Saturday.
They did show him on the sideline with his helmet. It's just never. Really
I promise you.
I mean, is there a chance it was just like his hair was matted down because he had the helmet on?
Hey, there's one in the orange a little bit.
Yeah, Rockstar's got it.
It's
but
it's more.
You know what? I think that's from Saturday too. Credit Getty Images.
Yeah.
I think that is at College Station.
Yeah, we need to work that out a little bit.
Yeah, you don't like that haircut, huh?
Well, I just think he's probably.
You think that's why he's
overthinking it. Yeah. I mean, look, he missed some easy throws.
What's Robbie Ashford's haircut look like right now?
I don't even know.
I don't hate that haircut, LT.
If Dunaway had that hair, he'd wear it that way. There's no doubt.
I don't hate that haircut.
I mean, look, I don't mind the flow and even the mullet. I just don't like the white wall look above the ear.
Yeah. It's pretty. I think it's a lot of kids are going that route right now.
I don't know if I've seen that specific one. I've seen a combination maybe.
That helmet gets uncomfortable, LT, if you wear it a lot, especially when you get the crap knocked out of you.
He's got to play better. Got to play better. It doesn't matter who your quarterback is. A lot of people are saying Ashford needs to be the guy because Georgia obviously is going to get after it. This offensive line is going to get exposed. But Peyton Thorne is going to have some opportunities. Hugh Freeze puts you in good situations.
Oh, yeah. Maybe Peyton Thorne's not the only one that has to play better. Maybe people around him have to play better.
His line does.
Yeah, but, I mean, we don't even know. I mean,
Coach talk.
The throw to Jay Fair, I mean, I would assume he was going to catch that.
What the
I think Fromm was going to catch the one where he got completely destroyed because it was such a bad throw.
Fair on the wheel route was out of practice early. He walks in the end zone. And, again, that's to Lance's point. Hugh Freeze and Philip Montgomery are dialing up a good play there.
Yeah, dare I say that was Jay unfair on that throw there. It was such a bad throw.
Dare you not.
You're on a roll today, man.
Let's get to our stock report today, which is brought to you by our friends at the Pants Store, your game day headquarters. Alabama and Auburn game day polos, hats, and quarter zips. Choose from famous name brands like Gentile, Cutter and Buck, Antigua, Elephant Head, and Taylor and Mick. And don't forget, ladies, you can go to the Pants Store as well to get your game day needs. Skirts, rompers, clear bags, and booties. And, of course, you like the hats, too. All right there at the Pants Store. Anywhere in America, pantsstore.com, pantsstore.com, or in person at 6 locations in Auburn, Alabama, Crestline, Hoover, Huntsville, Leeds, and Tuscaloosa. It's the Pants Store, pantsstore.com, Rockstar.
The College Football Spotlight.
Stock up, stock down. College football stock report.
I love her voice.
Amber giving us a good one.
Start us off, Brownie. Give
All
us
right,
one.
I will, Jimmy D. My stock up right now, SEC wide receivers. We talk a lot about the quarterbacks in the Southeastern Conference maybe not being up to par. But I tell you what, the guys catching it are doing a dang good job in the Southeastern Conference. Did you know, would you be surprised if I told you, in terms of yards per game, the Southeastern Conference has 3 of the top 4 receivers in America? Not the Pac-12, the pass-happy Pac-12.
Okay, so you've
the
got
Southeastern Conference.
You got Leggett.
He's number 1 with
139
a game. Neighbors is number 3 with 130 a game. And we talked about him yesterday.
Is it Luther Burden?
It is Luther Burden with 126 a game. That's 3 of the top 4 wide receivers in America right now in the Southeastern Conference. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I want to
the
hear
SEC doesn't play defense.
I'm interested in what this stock down
What,
is.
points tonight?
Yeah. Talk to me.
Points tonight, Lance. Do you know who's got the number 11 scoring defense in all of America? I'll give you a hint, guys. I spent 6 years there in pursuit of a degree. I don't know if you can get it now, but go ahead and try to guess.
Stanford.
Nope.
Houston State.
Middle Tennessee State.
The Jacksonville State University is giving up 11 points per game. Is that any good?
That's pretty good.
11 points a game. They used to have the old Red Bandit defense back when I was a kid done away. I think Rich Rodriguez has brought it back. The Bandits are back.
Brown Bandits, Red Bandits.
The Bandits are back. Do you know who's what?
I don't think I ever knew you were there 6 years.
Yeah, and it's my parents could tell you that. Yeah, started in '94, finished in 2000. I mean, I guess 5 full.
Stopped in 2000.
Yeah.
Stopped.
That was me. I was 5
Yeah.
full in one class.
That's 7 years.
No.
So
Fall of
6
'94,
falls.
spring of 2000 was my final attempt at a degree. Jacksonville
It was 5.5 years for me, and I thought I was there a long time.
Man, we've got a lot of combined education on this panel.
Yeah, it's totally.
So it's 11 and a half between us. How long were you in Tuscaloosa?
5 full in one class in the fall, just where I could have another fall semester.
Okay, so I'm going to call you 5.5 as
Yeah,
well.
that's fine.
So 17 years and not one doctorate between us.
No, only 2 degrees, in fact. Do you know who's the dead last scoring offense in America?
Sam Houston State.
Yeah, I'm going to guess Sam Houston.
They've scored 10 points this year, guys.
Yeah. I watched
this
them against
year. 10 points.
BYU.
They didn't score a point that
Yeah.
night. Yeah, 10 points they've scored this year. So I've got the number 11 scoring defense against the dead last scoring offense. You think we're going to have any points tonight in that game, Lance?
Probably so now. Probably have a track meet.
Do you know what the total is? 36. That's
No,
low
they're
for a
probably
college
not.
game.
Probably going to have an under.
So you mean to tell me when you and I started doing a show, you were like 2 years out of college? 3 years?
2 or 3, yeah. What did we start in 2003? Yeah,
I always
finished
forget
Jackson
when
at
we
2.
started.
Yeah,
we have 2 employees. One just got out of college 6 months ago. One
Yeah.
just got out of college 18
I
months
know.
ago.
They seem really young compared to Brown back then.
I finished Jack State in 2000.
They are much more mature now than Brown was back there.
That's
Fair
got to
enough?
be true, yes.
He was an old soul. Like he's
I've
a lot
always-
more fun now than he was back then.
I've always been an old soul.
Ishmael.
Rockstar's right. I did not finish in 2000. I quit attending in 2000. Is that the way I need to word it, Rockstar?
Well, I quit UAB after a year and a half, so
Yeah, but
I
hey,
could talk.
at least it was 5.5 or more years.
I knew I was going to stop.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And by the way, if my daughter's listening, get that degree. All right, here we go, LT. What do you got?
My stock down, I hyped this up, one of my 3 guarantees, which is obviously going to be wrong. The Roadrunners, look, sometimes when your quarterback gets hurt, nothing you can do about it. They've lost 2 one-possession games, finally got blown out in Knoxville last week. I don't know when Frank Harris is coming back. So these are legitimate stock down and up. But what I'm hoping is it flips around the corner because UTSA is about to roll if he can come back because their schedule is very forgiving. And on the other side, as good as Oregon looks, their schedule is about to get really difficult.
Well, I cannot believe you're not buying in this Oregon team.
Oh, I'm buying in. I think they're good. Their stock's up right there. You see that?
Yeah, it's a
I
green
do,
up
but you're
arrow.
setting me up to flip the script. Is what you're about to. That's
Well,
what you're saying. You're saying UTS is about to get good and Oregon's about to get bad.
Well, I don't know if you watched, but Oregon, I still don't know how they won in Lubbock. I still don't know how they won.
Because they're well coached and they have a hell of a quarterback.
They got a good quarterback, got a good coach.
Yeah, those are 2 truths.
We'll see what happens.
Just repeating things I said now. Yeah. Here's my stock up. Bama receivers, they don't get many opportunities. And when they come close, they're making hell of catches, man. That Jermaine Burton catch. Sliding, readjusting, catching under the guy's arm.
He's open deep a lot, too, Burton is. I mean, he's able to get open a lot deep.
Pass to Oots was nowhere close to him. He got out of his zone to make the catch. That's another I need to have my dunks on to say he got out of his catch zone to make the grab
Are these
there.
receivers dudes?
They are dudes. And then, of course, Hell, who's come out of nowhere, he's making plays.
Is he bringing Hell with him?
Yeah, he's bringing Hell with him. Hell or high water is Bama wide receivers. Stock up for them as they go to Starkville. And then the Rebels, the team they beat.
Hotty toddy.
4-5 in their last 9 SEC games.
Yeah.
4-5 is under what? 500.
That is below 500.
4-5 is a losing what? Record. Lane Kiffin is your coach there. 4-5 Rebels, stock down. That's our stock report today. Brought to you in part as well by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Tell us about Hemp Hill, LT.
Yeah, Dunaway. Our friends at Hemp Hill Services, the name Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. 0% for 60 months for qualified customers, plus free 10-year labor warranty when you mention the next round. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys at Hemp Hill Services. It's hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com. jackstick.com.
Just on Jackstick, that is the lowest total all weekend. Like NFL and everything.
Yeah, I don't have a read. It's so low. It's down to 36 and a half.
36 and a half right now at mybookie.ag. You never see that in a college game that doesn't involve Iowa. 36 and a half is a low total.
It's a low total.
Yeah.
Dan Orlovsky coming up at the top of the hour to talk NFL. But like minds think the same. Bruce Feldman writes at The Athletic today that what Deion is doing at Colorado reminds him of what Pete Carroll did at USC in the early 2000s.
Oh.
He's getting all the stars and all the media buzz to create
A little more subtle on Pete's side. A little more subtle.
Snoop Dogg on the sidelines.
I'll tell you one of the funniest things
Ferrell.
they did. You guys tell me if you think you could get away with this today. When Jackass was at its heyday in MTV, Johnny Knoxville rolled out in a Tennessee uniform, and they let USC tee off on him. I mean, he was
punt returns.
Punt returns,
Yeah.
and with no coverage. So it was just Johnny Knoxville against 11.
But you know,
He signed a waiver, I'm sure.
I'm sure, but do you think there's any college campus that would be allowed to do
They'd be
that today?
so afraid they get sued. I don't know how many of these people are invited by Prime in Colorado, or they just want to show up. But it is wild every week seeing the level of celebrity that shows up for those games.
So you can read that, Bruce Feldman at The Athletic. And then current USC coach sees another similarity in what Deion is doing in Boulder. They play each other this week. Here's Lincoln Riley.
You know, we've all seen it here. You know, there's a lot more similarities in the transformation here and what Coach has done at Colorado than there's not. So, yeah, I mean, I see right where he's coming from. He's done a great job with the roster. And I think, you know, another thing I've seen I don't know him. I've never met him. But he seems to be, you know, very genuine in his approach. And listen, everybody's different. Everybody's got different personalities. I think leadership, when you're fake and try to be something you're not, I think people see right through that. And regardless of what your characteristics are of your personality, if you're yourself, you can be a great leader. And he certainly seems to do that, seems to be very genuine, and certainly his guys have responded to that.
Lincoln Riley literally doing his news conference in bright sunlight with sunglasses off.
So Lincoln is a guy, a lot of people are like torn on this game. I think it was Feinbaum that said, you know, Colorado could spring an upset here. I don't see it happening. It's a weird kick time. Obviously 9 a.m. for these USC players is going to be extremely early. They're 21.5 right now. But I'll say this about Lincoln Riley. He doesn't run the score up. Like, if you'll notice this, he could really pad stats with Caleb Williams. But if they're up, let's just say 35 in the second half, even to kick the second half, I don't think you see Caleb in there.
If I was him with that defense, I would score whenever I could.
No, I don't know how you ever lift if you're him with that defense. Yeah. To Jim's point, if you're playing a competent team, and they haven't played a ton of competent teams so far this year.
But I feel pretty good. You get up 35 on Colorado, that game's over.
I would like to think so, yeah.
You would think, but that's a different defense. Charles says Pete Carroll had Snoop Dogg calling plays live on TV, and game day went to almost every USC game back in 2005. Good comparison. He says there. You can read Bruce's story at The Athletic for a small monthly feed there for those fine folks there. When we come back, maybe the best NIL deal, Forrester, that we've seen so far, maybe. Next to that heating and cooling guy in Nebraska last year.
The chilliest?
The coldest?
The coldest,
I'm sorry,
yeah.
I had the wrong name.
The coldest was probably the best one. This was second best. We'll get to that one when we come back. And then Orlovsky talking NFL football with us at the top of the hour right here on TNR. Don't forget Bud Light game night tonight. Overtime Bar and Grill. Come hang out. QR code. All you do is take your smartphone, whether it's the 15, the 14, the 13, hell, a 12. We'll take a picture of that QR code and get you into the drawing to have a chance to win Alabama and Auburn tickets that we'll give away coming up in November. Bud Light game night at the Overtime Bar and Grill tonight, 5 to 7. Our show is 6 to 7 on all of our platforms when we talk to the owner of Lance's Lock. Lance Taylor will be on the show tonight. That's Bud Light game night. Overtime Bar and Grill. We'll see you out there.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
The extra hours of sunshine are back on the clock, and that means it's time for golf at Timberline, a short drive from Birmingham or Montgomery. Go to timberlinegc.com, timberlinegc.com to book your tee times, schedule a lesson, or just drop by and use the TrackMan technology on the driving range. The course is always fun, in great shape, and you can even become a member. Get all the details at timberlinegc.com. It's time to get your golf on with our friends at Timberline.
The Next Round Golf Cart is here. Your chance to play 4 area golf courses for just $89. Get 18 holes in cart at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. A $247 value for just $89. Get your golf cart now at nextround.store. The Next Round is brought to you in part by the biggest, baddest track in NASCAR, Talladega Superspeedway. This beast is 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and always puts on a great show for the fans. The Yellowwood 500 NASCAR Playoffs weekend is coming and you do not want to miss it. Saturday, September 30th is the Craftsman Truck Series Playoffs race, followed by Sunday's Yellowwood 500 in the NASCAR Cup Series Playoffs. Be there to see drivers battle 500 miles to survive. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
It's NBA time, Birmingham, as we hoop it up with the New Orleans Pelicans and Houston Rockets, October 12th at Legacy Arena. Single game tickets are now available. Visit birminghamsquadron.com or call 205-719-0850 for more information or to buy tickets. And the game is packed with former local players like Herb Jones and Kyra Lewis Jr. and Jabari Smith, and other superstars like Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson. You can also become a Squadron season ticket holder to get complimentary tickets to this huge event right here in the Magic City. The Pelicans preseason game in Birmingham sold out last year, so get your tickets as soon as possible. Do that online at birminghamsquadron.com or by calling 205-719-0850. October 12th, it's the Pelicans and Rockets at Legacy Arena right here in Birmingham. birminghamsquadron.com.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who miss the fairway all day and still pull out the big stick, the type of guys who will always prefer to be behind the grill than in front of the camera, and the men who never let their friends forget about a high school nickname. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
The Next Round store is live and loaded. Check out the latest logo t-shirts and hoodies. Get your favorite team colors, the Next Round flag shirt, or grab the popular Y'all Can Have the Rest t-shirts. Go to nextround.store. That's nextround.store.
Back with you on the Next Round as we roll on. Our friends at Way to Wellness is helping you on your drive to be healthier right now. In fact, look.
What?
I'm going to show it off right now.
What is that?
I'm eating a nice yogurt bowl today for my breakfast. Take a look. Zoom in here.
What you got? A lot of blueberries?
Some blueberries, some almond butter, some granola, some low-fat yogurt, and on the bottom, let me put the lid back on. So
Didn't Little T do a video on how to make that?
Yeah. On the bottom today, strawberries instead of banana.
God, looks
little
good.
Red, white, and blue.
God bless America.
I wouldn't eat that. I would just frame it.
Right there. It's delicious,
Do I
man.
have
I
to
love
salute?
it. Part of my Way to Wellness journey to healthy living. You can swing by Way to Wellness, talk to Leslie and her board-certified team. I got some great protein bars that taste like a 100-gram bar, a Baby Ruth, a Snickers, some great bars there that help me with my weight loss. 182 pounds today, Rockstar. 182. I've seen you working out a lot lately. Where are you right now?
I don't. I do it maybe once every 2 weeks. I don't weigh myself. I'm probably 188.
188?
I can't believe you're 28 pounds less than me.
Well, you've got muscle. I've got bone.
You've got muscle, I got bone.
I mean, what was your heaviest?
I was 216. 216. 182.
Yeah, that's impressive, man.
Thank you, Leslie. You can be part of this whole journey to weight loss, but for me, it was about blood pressure and cholesterol because everyone up here loves me so much, they don't want me to die and stroke out. They want me to be here as long as possible. So they were like, Jim, you got to do something about your blood pressure and your cholesterol. So I went to Leslie and her board-certified team. It's a planforme.com, a planforme.com. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free. Maybe send that link to somebody you love. A planforme.com, a planforme.com. That is Way to Wellness. All right, we got new words, 690 of them. in
Webster's?
Is it Webster, Merriam-Webster? Is that which one?
These aren't going to be dumbass like.
LT, you know they are. You know they are.
Are we doing all 690?
I'm not going to give you all 690. I do have a couple. Save the sports one.
Okay, just real quick. Webster's, it took them years to actually say that ain't is a word. Remember, they were against that for so long, and now they'll just roll right into this.
Yeah, but you're
Who's
right.
Who's running Webster's?
Now it's Merriam-Webster, right? It's the official.
Manuel Lewis, I think.
Yeah. But they do informal. They put informal by it if it's a lot of these are informal.
Oh,
right?
these are informal words?
Yeah,
okay.
Like so they can still stick their nose up in the air when we say ain't.
Right.
It's informal.
Yeah.
It's in the dictionary. Simp, Brown, to show exclusive devotion.
Are you saying I'm a simp?
To or longing for someone or something. It's a verb.
Yeah.
Goated is an adjective.
God, I hate that one.
Considered to be the greatest of all time. Goated is now actually in the dictionary, so that means you can play all these in that game. What is it, Scrabble?
Sure. All right.
Scrabble.
It's Scrabble.
Yeah.
Brown, the Brown Bandit, be happy. Jorts.
Jorts
is now actually
the Jorts game of the year hit too.
A word.
Yeah.
Shorts made of denim or jeans.
It took like 30 years to get jorts in there.
I know.
Yep.
Florida's been doing it for years.
The one our social media director talked to me about one day. Thirst trap is a noun. It's a photograph,
Can we
such
call
as a selfie or a video.
You post a lot of thirst traps.
Why was Little T telling you about thirst traps?
Shared for the purpose of attracting attention or desire. I think she was pointing out that I'm too old to be taking as many selfies as I do. I didn't get in the picture with my dog yesterday. I just let the dog and the sunset speak for itself.
Yeah. The Golden Bachelor is about to roll out. There's thirst traps at all ages out there.
You think that old boy brought any Viagra with him for this deal?
Oh, yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, well, he needs to with those cougars that they're rolling out.
He's got a hearing aid.
They've been beat to death.
He's got a hearing aid?
Yeah, if you'll notice.
That's bullshit.
No, 100% he does. Y'all back me up in the Vulcan.
I'm sure they put one on him, but I bet it's not real.
They're gonna fake a hearing aid?
Yeah, why not?
They only show the commercial for it every single commercial break during the ABC games and ESPN games. Notice you could see that, you know how people have it and it's got that little clear wire that comes down. Just pay attention.
Could it not be the producers that are talking to him in an IFB?
I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't think he's wearing an IFB just to stand there and say yes.
Could it be a Bluetooth?
It could be a lot of things, guys, but I think if you'll just look at it, you'll see that it's a hearing aid.
Paul, you're exactly right. Brie chicken fry is a thirst trap.
Oh, she's got Dunaway parched.
Yeah, absolutely.
She really does.
Yeah,
What does Max think about Brie chicken fry?
I don't think Max is real threatened by Brie chicken fry.
You can find a lot of Brie chicken fries at any coffee shop in America.
Hey, by the way, here is the one I wanted to bring up. This is now officially in the dictionary. It's a noun, bracketology. The practice of study, predicting the outcome of elimination tournaments or competition, especially the NCAA college basketball tournament. Bracketology, officially a word. Use it in your Scrabble tonight.
I wonder if Joe Lenardi, I don't know that he came up with it, but he was the first guy I remember that phrase being attached to.
Well, if he didn't trademark it, he's not getting paid for it.
I'm sure someone else at ESPN thought of it.
690 new words. I did not get into all of them, but there is some of them. LT, tell us about our friends at Bromberg's. They have been
awesome
for so long.
There we go.
There's so many words I couldn't think of.
Bracketologist.
690 when
my Merriam dictionary was spinning there for a second.
Hey, look, ain't nothing like a thirst trap if you're sporting some Uhrman, a Rolex, one of those. Hey, look, Bromberg's got a great selection of fine jewelry. They are your diamond specialist. Go see them. 2 locations, Mountain Brook and the Summit. You can shop online. Go to Brombergs.com. Nothing like giving or getting that silver box from our friends at Bromberg's.
All right. So as we get to the discussion, we started off a couple of segments about the NIL conversation, about $5,000 visits and stuff. Some of the NIL is good. Some of the NIL you're endorsing something. You're using your name, your image, and your likeness to make money for yourself and for other companies. The Iowa pork producers, great people of Iowa, producing hams and bacon. They got 4 Iowa State players together: Miles Purchase, Tyler Moore, Tommy Hammond, and Caleb Bacon, real names, lined them up facing away from the camera, and this is the picture you get. Purchase more ham and bacon.
That's pretty good, actually.
That is a great NIL.
That is really, really good.
From the Iowa Pork Producers Association. Purchase more Hammond Bacon.
That is really
Purchase
good.
more ham and bacon. That's fantastic. That's NIL to me, LT.
That's NIL.
That's good, clean Iowa fun.
Yeah, I mean, and back to what Saban said, it's not really name, image, and likeness. I mean, how many times do you guys see players really endorsing things?
Very rarely. I used to be told Bryce Young made millions, and outside of the Heisman house, I could not remember seeing him in any commercial.
Well, Forrester found one thing for us, and I forgot it was something that I never saw. It was some random commercial.
Yeah, so I don't know how it all works. I like that one, and what I like most about that one, which is what I used to, I've probably been the biggest supporter of all of us in name, image, and likeness, especially going back to when Wimp used to come on the show. I've never had an issue with name, image, and likeness. But people used to always say it's only going to be the starting quarterback. What I like about this, I'm going to guess these guys probably aren't huge contributors, especially 48 and 50. I'm just going to guess. I'm book by cover, looking from behind. I'm going to guess 48 and 50 don't give a whole lot.
If I was guessing running back, tight end,
long
fullback, and long snapper. That's a great call.
Walk on fullback, walk on long snapper. Yeah.
So purchase more Hammond Bacon.
That's one thing I've liked
Now,
about
I would
it
almost
is-
put a nut on Hammond being a long snapper.
Okay, I'll look.
Yeah.
I've got one of them.
You bet to have so few of those.
So I get
you
it
bet
back.
so
If
many of
Hammond,
them.
this is a good call. If Hammond is a long snapper, can have it back.
Not going to bet on that.
Snip, snap, snip, snap, snip,
No.
snap.
I bet he's a fullback.
I like having your nut.
What?
Wow. Put that on the T-shirt. Put that on the T-shirt.
I've seen this multiple times that Robbie Ashford does the I Hang TV commercials.
I've never seen them.
Yeah, I had that dude come out when we talked about advertising. Guess he's going to give his money to Robbie.
Yeah, well, apparently it's working.
Robbie
If
can hang
people-
TVs
do
in
you
here.
notice it? Have you seen them?
I've never seen it.
Yeah.
And now that I gave you good NIL, another sign that the world is going to hell in a handbasket. What is now expected to be the most watched Sunday night NFL football game in NBC history is this weekend.
Well, it was going to be, right?
No,
Say
it
that
is.
again?
It is now expected to be. Everyone inside the industry expects Sunday night to be the most watched Sunday night NFL game in
Because
history.
Taylor Swift's going to be there?
Taylor Swift word has come out that she has planned on, and security and everything, planning on her to be there for Kansas City and the Jets on Sunday night. And industry insiders believe it'll be the most watched Sunday night NFL game in NBC
Do you
history.
know the line to beat? Do you know the game
Oh, I
by
don't.
any chance? I'll see if I can find
Hey,
it.
if you want to hear Brock Heward's take on love, by the way, colorblind quarterback.
Brock Heward is?
Brock Heward. Had no
I'm
idea.
I'm sure you heard that from the stands.
Got a
lot.
lot of stuff in Unlike yesterday. It was great.
Throw it to the darker shade, Brock.
But he gives his opinion on true love when we talk about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. I am telling you, this is fabricated. The NFL is paying Taylor Swift.
Why would they-
1,000%.
How much
Because
would
the
they have-
numbers are going up.
But Lance, how much would they have to pay her? She's a billionaire. I mean, I don't know that they could pay
But
her
it's
enough.
good for her brand, too.
I don't think her brand needs any help. I think it's at a all-time high.
Every
Her
brand can use help.
Her brand has its own economy right now. Like you
I know.
may need it in her off years when she's not setting records in the tour, but this is when she's.
I think she's getting greedy. She wants to be a billionaire twice over.
Yeah.
I mean, her concert, this era's concert tour, has now been flipped into a production that they're putting out in the theaters next month.
Which is hard to get tickets for, by the way.
Oh, I'm sure.
So I'm
All
just saying she's printing money every single way, so why not take on the NFL?
According to this, Cowboys at Redskins 2012, 30 million viewers is the highest of all time. Buccaneers at Patriots, the return of Tom Brady, 28.5 million. That was just 2 years ago. And then Cowboys at Giants back in 16, 26 million. That's your top three.
I mean, what's the normal? 19 million, 20 million?
This past Sunday was Steelers-Raiders, two pretty good brands, not a tremendously great game, was 17 million.
Yeah, so you're telling me
You almost
that
got double your audience.
You're telling me Chiefs versus Zach Wilson and the Jets.
Yeah, just because T Swizzle's
because they
gonna be
think Taylor Swifties are going to jump in there and watch that.
That's why it's worth it for the NFL to do this. And I'll go on and tell you, Zach Wilson is going to shit on their party.
Oh, you think they're going to win this game?
I am taking the Jets plus 9.5 against the Chiefs. You're going to get it at Lance's lock, but if you're watching right now, you're getting it free.
That's our Dr. B lock of the day.
Wow.
Brought to you by Dr. B. That gets us to the top of the hour to talk to Dan Orlovsky.
Yeah, Dr. B offering that Sensus transdermal infuser. This enables Dr. B to get various medicines and therapies into the scalp where the hair follicles are without using any injections. This is revolutionary as Dr. B can pinpoint delivery of a patient's genetically specific products without any needles. T3hair.net. Went and saw Dr. Beckenstein when I started to thin out. My hair is more than double doubled in thickness. Make the phone call that I made. 205-319-0316. That's 205-319-0316 or t3hair.net.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
The Next Round brought to you by the biggest and baddest track in NASCAR, the Talladega Superspeedway. The Yellowwood 500 NASCAR Playoffs weekend is coming up. You don't want to miss it. The action kicks off Saturday, September 30th with the Craftsman Truck Series Playoffs race, all leading up to the NASCAR Cup Series Playoffs on Sunday, October the 1st. Be there to see these drivers battle for 500 miles to survive and advance to the next round of the playoffs. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Again, that is TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
Start your day online at nextroundlive.com. Get all the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. And it's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com. Do you need extra cash handy? Look no further than Legacy Credit Union for whatever loan your lifestyle requires. It only takes a few minutes to apply and request the amount you need to give you peace of mind. With affordable low rates and manageable payback plans, a Legacy Lifestyle loan is crafted just for you. Apply online today at legacycreditunion.com/join. Lifestyle loans from Legacy. Terms and conditions may apply. Legacy is federally insured by the NCUA.
It's college football time in Alabama. This is Congressman Robert Adderholt. I grew up an Alabama fan, Roll Tide, but my wife, Caroline, grew up an Auburn fan, War Eagle. But no matter who you pull for, whether it's the Lions of the University of North Alabama or the Gamecocks of Jacksonville State or any other school in between, I want to wish all the players, the coaches, and especially the fans another great college football season here in Alabama. I'm Robert Adderholt, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Adderholt for Congress.
Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast. The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and our entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Dan Orlovsky in just a second, scheduled to be with us to talk NFL before he flies over to London for the NFL broadcast that he and Laura Rutledge and Louis Riddick and Chris Fowler will be doing this week. So no Chris Fowler on the Saturday night NFL game, college game. That'll be Reese and Herbstreit doing Notre Dame and Duke in Duke. This hour brought to you by Champy's, world famous fried chicken. Champy's Chicken right there on Highway 119 in Alabaster. I mean, so many things that Sterling does at Champy's Chicken that I love there, including serve up the good old Coca-Cola right there. He serves that up ice cold with that hot southern fried chicken, cooked to order, piping hot, great sides, Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, and the hand-cut chicken fingers, perfect for your tailgate or to watch all the football this weekend. It is champyschicken.com, Highway 119 in Alabaster, celebrating 10-plus years there in that one location. And NASCAR racing this weekend. If you're in town, you want some cuisine that makes you feel like I'm in Alabama, it's Champy's Chicken for you there. If you want to take it back to the track for the race gate, if you will, you can do that. Get your tickets to Talladega by going to their website, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Saturday Race Truck Series, Saturday night Hardy in concert. You get that Hardy concert with your Sunday race ticket, and that Sunday race ticket includes the playoffs, the Yellowwood 500. And if a Coca-Cola driver wins, they'll be getting out of the car going.
Yes, they will. Yep. Great product. Hey, so am I missing something before Dan joins us? My daughter likes to push my buttons a little bit.
Right, she likes to poke the cage a little bit?
Yeah, she said, are you still going to be using Google? Because I talk about using Google all the time. Did Google do something?
I don't know.
I think Google is having a problem with somebody.
Google's having a problem with somebody.
All right, that narrows it down.
Yeah, that's all right.
Well, I think AI maybe is replacing Google.
But if I want to do this, do I just Google? How do I figure this out? Normally I would just Google.
Oh, never mind.
Whatever.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
It was a joke.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Not fun. I'll show it to you guys. Can you read that?
Yeah, I can. Hold on.
Yeah.
I got to get your glasses there, Jimmy.
I mean, what a shot. You're going to laugh out loud.
Yeah.
Look at this, Brown. I'm telling you, I'm like, hey, let's go to dinner. I don't hear from her, and then I just get a random text.
That's one of the funniest jokes I've ever read. That is so good.
Oh, shit.
So good.
Should I share with the class?
I don't care. I think it's hilarious.
I would.
Yeah.
You do whatever you want to do.
Piss somebody off.
It's funny.
You do whatever you want to do.
I'll share with the back room here in a little bit.
I mean, you guys seem to always like the train wreck, so go ahead.
You guys?
But if you get in trouble, don't blame it on me.
You ain't going to get in trouble.
You passing or not passing?
Are you still going to be using Google? And I said, what happened? ? And she said, it turned 25.
Oh, my.
Wait, turn Tyler and Forster on.
Such a good line, isn't it? Somebody had to give her that line.
I thought something was really going on with Google. Yeah.
Man, that is so good.
Just caught up in the lobby.
Yeah, I did hear
the lobby laugh
giant,
too? Oh, that is such a good line. I refuse to believe she came up with it by herself. No offense to her. But
I don't know. She's pretty witty.
That's really good.
Oh,
that is really
man.
good.
I tell you what, I wish
Jim?
there are times that I wish I could just be like the person that assists the talent when they go on road trips for ESPN.
The roadie?
Yeah, to be with Laura Rutledge and Orlovsky and Chris Fowler Louis Riddick and this crew as they go across the pond to watch a little NFL football. What a great trip this would be.
Well, I'm worried about Dan, though. You should already be in London, Dan. I don't think you've budgeted enough time for travel here. I'm worried that you haven't already gone.
I leave at like 6:40 out of JFK, and I think I land at like 6:30 in the morning tomorrow morning in London. So
Is it like Secession? Are you guys on a private jet?
A PJ.
Like y'all are holding the private jet, and here comes Laura running in some Gucci outfit, and y'all pull out the lobster and the wine and fly over and laugh and play Scrabble.
One day maybe. That might be how some people get to work their way up to travel at this network. I certainly am not one of those people yet.
Have you been to London before?
Yeah, I played over there twice, and one of the games is incredible. And then we actually called last year. We called Jacksonville, Denver. So I've been over there a bunch. My wife's come over for a game with me once. So I leave tomorrow night, and then I actually fly out right after the game back to New York and land, I think, probably somewhere around like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'll be on Monday morning. So,
because you love to work, and we love that about you. Listen, not a projection here on tonight's game between the Lions and Packers, but I'm the guy who drafted Aaron Rodgers in his fantasy draft. He's out. My other two quarterbacks on my roster are Goff and Love. They play each other tonight. There's a good chance QB2 could be leading both these teams by the second half. But in seriousness, Jordan Love found a little something at the end of the last game. Where's Jordan Love in his progression right now?
Oh, Jordan's been really good. Last game is the context of how great the Saints defense is has to be a part of that conversation. I mean, that defense has gone 21 straight games, giving up less than 20 points.
Wow.
I mean, it's incredible how good that defense is playing and the clip that they're playing at. At the end of that game or later in that fourth quarter, he started to work the slot, their tight end, Musgrave and Jaden Reed. And then he made plays in the red zone to Romeo Doubs. So Jordan's been really, really good. It's scheme-wise, it'll be a very similar defense tonight. Aaron Glenn, who's the defensive coordinator for the Lions, came over from New Orleans. Not the level of talent and certainly not in the coverage end. So I think a big part of the conversation is, man, he's going into this game without his left tackle, his left guard, potentially his number one wide receiver, again with Christian Watson. They might be without Jair Alexander as well. So Green Bay is very much so beat up. They have been, but this obviously short week is even more impacted.
To your game Sunday morning, clear-cut favorite for the AFC South was the Jacksonville Jaguars, and you can understand the loss to Kansas City. But losing by 20 to a rookie quarterback, and I'll give C.J. Stroud a lot of credit. He's playing really good football. That's a bad loss. They're sitting at 1-2. They've got a ton of weapons. It just doesn't seem like it's come together so far in September.
Yeah, so number one, Jacksonville leads the NFL in drops. That's not just last game. They lead the NFL in drops. So they got to get that figured out. We were actually doing this on NFL Live, I think yesterday or day before with Andrew Hawkins, just kind of talking about why does that happen? Is it more receiver? Is it more quarterback? And it's a little bit of both, but they got to get that figured out and handled. If you go back to last week, it's one of those odd games because – two blown coverages led to 2 touchdowns for Houston, and CJ made him hurt him on it. So you get those figured out, controllables. 2, there was 13 points swung on special teams. A blocked field goal, missed field goal, and then a kick return. So, it's a bad loss and it looks bad, but are you getting absolutely whooped because you're not good enough, or are you, kind of, I don't want to say giving games away, but hurting yourself with self-inflicted things. So I think they got to get the drops figured out, and hopefully they do. And then, last week's got to be the one-off that kind of happened when it came to the special teams aspects.
Dan Orlovsky is with us. You will see him on ESPN Plus on the London game coming up Sunday morning. He is presented each week on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline by MyBookie.ag. Don't forget code NEXTROUND right now. At MyBookie.ag, that initial sign-on deposit, they will bonus you 110%. They're giving you 110% at MyBookie.ag when you use code NEXTROUND. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND. Buffalo has obviously tonight's game is the best game in the NFC. The best game in the AFC is Sunday, Buffalo and Miami. Buffalo obviously has improved tremendously from that product we saw on the first Monday night when Aaron Rodgers got hurt and they lost that game to where they are now. What are they doing differently, Dan, that has made them play so much better over the last couple?
It's a great question. They've become a play-action, pass-centric offense. It's not just Josh Allen standing 5 yards behind the center in the shotgun and just, hey, let's try to either get it out quick or make big plays. They've gone way more to putting Josh under center. They've gone way more to bringing a 6th offensive lineman in the game and using play action. And again, to my point, they've ran way more play action. In the last 2 weeks, Josh is 20 of 23 on play action for like 230 yards and 2 touchdowns. And I think a couple of the reasons. So Josh is one of those offenses that teams aren't going to allow the big play. They're structurally, they're just not going to do it, right? So when you run play action, you can manipulate that a little bit to try to create some gaps in your defense so you can get some of the explosives. 2, I think Josh gets to a point where he's got such consistent protection in the play action game that if it's not there, he doesn't trust it or whatnot. I think he's a little bit more comfortable going and making a play if it's there rather than forcing it. And I think he does that a little bit at times in the drop back game. So I think they should become the best play action pass offense in the NFL. They're capable of it. And so that's been the big switch, and they need to kind of live in it this week because I think they have to score 35 to beat Miami.
Yeah. I mean, because Miami's coming off a 70-point game. Did you think that was possible in today's NFL?
No. Dude, I just called a game on Monday Night Football where the Bengals had 4 possessions in the first 35 minutes of the game, let alone scoring 10 touchdowns. So the 70 points was impressive. I didn't know it until a day or two ago. They had 730 yards of offense as well. And I know like that may be like, well, they scored 70, but 730 yards of offense is outrageous. So I had no idea that it was possible. But seeing how well that offense is operating, I said week one, I thought it was indefensible. And I kind of still feel that way. That's why I'm saying, like, Buffalo's got to go hang 35 to think they can win.
I'm sure you get the social media idiot that's like, Dan, it's 6 points a touchdown. The field's 100 yards. If it's 700, that's how they're going to end up with 70. You get that kind of guy, right?
Yeah. I mean, I could, if I shared my social media mentions with you guys, we would be laughing till 2027. So, there's a lot of opportunity there.
But to his point, they did it without a defensive score. I mean, that would normally, now the defense created turnovers that set them up right on the porch, but there were no defensive scores. There were 10 offensive touchdowns.
Impressive number.
Yeah.
Right. I got to pick your brain about it because you played in the league and you're around the league, you know the players. So Aaron Rodgers is out. He does his media obligations, and now he's talking about how we should be handling things on the team. Does that play well in the locker room? Does it not play well in the locker room?
No, I think it plays well in the locker room. One, just the starting point appreciation and respect that people have for Aaron just as the player. And then obviously a lot of the reports of how awesome he was there, this spring and then summertime. So immediately there's that appreciation and respect. And I don't really think that, Aaron was kind of making the point or the example of, what Joe Namath kind of said about Robert Saleh, that everybody should be fired and that should blow the whole place up again. And guys, we're 3 weeks into the season. There's still a ton ahead. And if there's just everybody on the same page and supporting everybody and trying to get it done, there's still the chance, whether it's likely in people's eyes or not. So I think, Aaron's built up the reputation, certainly in their locker room, that, what he says carries weight. And it's also, he's in California trying to just come off of surgery. I don't think he's, going and surfing in the morning and just kind of coasting through the season. So to my knowledge, he's going to try to get back to the team as soon as possible. And I think that matters as well.
Hey, big AFC North battle in Cleveland this week as Baltimore heads in to take on the Browns. A couple of questions here. The Ravens coming off a bad loss to the Colts. Do you think this Ravens offense gets going? Again, they've got weapons much like Jacksonville, a lot of offseason acquisitions there. And on the other side, we saw good Deshaun Watson this past week against Tennessee with no Nick Chubb. Yeah. Do you think that continues?
Not the defense that you want to kind of say, let's get going against when it comes to Cleveland's defense. If Baltimore tries to run the ball early downs, they're done. Cleveland's defensive line, there's no defensive line as firing off the football more on early downs than Cleveland. And then Cleveland's playing man coverage. Denzel Ward has been spectacular. The Ravens in many ways gave last week's game away just by sloppy football and injuries. Ronnie Stanley, their left tackle, not playing. We'll see if Odell plays. I'd say the one thing that they have to do against Cleveland's defense is they got to throw the ball down the field and man versus to Zay Flowers. They just haven't used Zay vertically the way I thought. Deshaun was much better last week. I think Deshaun's accuracy showed up a little bit more last week, specifically to Amari Cooper. So that's an advantage for Cleveland's offense. Baltimore's defense is still very beat up, and the back end isn't as talented as Cleveland's. But if Baltimore wants to win this game, man, they better be very aggressive throwing the football on first down, because if they try to run it, they'll be in third and long and have no shot.
Your college football coverage has taken you to our neck of the woods many times. And now you're heading to London. If you could only eat one cuisine the rest of your life, the Southern cuisine or the food in London?
Oh, Southern cuisine by far. Guys, I'm not joking. I'm not exaggerating, and I'm not trying to be a jerk. I will come back Sunday night, Monday morning. I will easily be 8 pounds less. I don't do well with London food, man. And I know people think it's great over there. It's not for me. So I got a lot of protein bars. I know that.
Yeah, we cook our baked beans and serve them with barbecue pork. They serve theirs cold at breakfast. Yeah.
I had never known that. My flight out there last year, we flew out last year, and all of a sudden we landed, and the flight attendant is walking me out scrambled eggs and baked beans.
Oh. I love baked beans, but I like them hot with some barbecue pork or a burger. I do not want them with breakfast, cold.
That's why we got to get you guys on that PJ, man. You get whatever you want. You get whatever you want.
Yeah, that's what we're working towards. If you guys know somebody, let me know.
Okay. Dan, safe travels, man. We look forward to talking to you again next Thursday.
Thanks, guys. Have a good weekend.
All right, buddy. You too. Dan Orlovsky with us weekly, courtesy of MyBookie.ag. Do not forget code next round right now at MyBookie.ag. This is a huge weekend. Huge weekend for you. Lance has already given you a surprise winner.
I have, yeah.
The Jets.
You don't have to stay on that.
The Jets.
You can change that by Sunday night if you want.
Look, I don't know if the Jets win the game. I think it's going to be a competitive game.
Yeah.
I do.
Just go to lanceslock.com.
This is that moment where either the Jets completely fall apart for the entire season or they rally together and play a really good game against Kansas City.
I would say this, that anything Lance says on the show needs to be confirmed at lanceslock.com before you do any of the betting.
As somebody in the chat room said, imagine these Swifties when they get a gander of Zach Wilson with that helmet off. They are going to fall in love with him. They're going to be so torn. Do I pull for Taylor's team or the hot quarterback, right?
They're throwing things at Zach. Oh, there's friendship bracelets coming out of the stands at Zach Wilson.
MyBookie.ag, assuming Lance does go with the Jets, he's going to go with somebody. You can play those games. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag, code next round. Here's why code next round. It's always important, right? But the people at MyBookie love you guys so much. They've decided this week and this week only with code next round, 110% sign-on bonus. You make your initial deposit. They match at 110% right there at MyBookie.ag. Only when you use code next round. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag, code next round.
Listen, when you're doing a lot of live stuff in the media, you can say things that I don't necessarily think you 100% believe, and I don't think people should be fired for slip-ups.
Okay.
I just want y'all.
Here's how bad the slip-up is.
I just want to. I want to know what you guys think of Chris Sims on NBC, basically saying, when it comes to the tush push, the quarterback sneak play the Eagles does, that if he was a defensive coach, he basically would be telling his guys to be headhunting the quarterback, that the only way this play is going to stop is if the quarterback starts getting hurt on it. I'm paraphrasing what he said there, but Jalen referenced his comment when he was asked about the tush push, the Eagles quarterback sneak, and he says, I've got no comment on it, none at all, but I did hear that somebody would like to see me get hurt while we're doing it. I hate the play. Now, my team played them this past week, but I hated it last year because they're so good at it.
Yeah.
They're so good at it. Now, the question becomes, should it be outlawed or not?
Well, I think it's something they'll take a look at. Not a lot of teams are doing it right now. The Eagles just perfected it. I think it's over the top with Chris Sims. This is a guy that lost his spleen in a game playing for your Tampa Bay Bucks, so he knows about getting injured at the quarterback position. I mean, he shouldn't lose his job over it.
Yeah, but and I like Jalen. You know that, right? We all like Jalen Hurts on this show, but he actually took a leap from what Chris said. Chris didn't say, I want to see Jalen get hurt. He said, if I'm a defensive coordinator, the only way it's going to stop is, of course. I told you this exact thing in a break the other day. We were talking about it. And you were like, Brownie, they've got to outlaw. And I was like, well, what would you outlaw? And you said the player's pushing, right?
Right.
And I said, really, the only way it's ever going to stop is if quarterback gets hurt doing it, because no franchise is going to risk their quarterback for a third and short. But for Sims to say, look, if I'm a defensive coordinator, man, you got to headhunt the quarterback. The only way it's going to stop is quarterback to get hurt. He didn't say, I want to see Jalen Hurts get hurt.
No, but what does headhunting mean to you?
Yeah, but he didn't say, I want to see Jalen Hurts get hurt so this thing stops. He's just like, the only way you're going to stop it is to be a headhunter.
Yeah, and I think there's only like 4 or 5 quarterbacks in the league that could actually do this consistently like Jalen.
Well, that's what a lot of people have been defending now. That you can't, even if you take away the push, and T.J. Watts said this, you take away the push part of it, he says it's still going to be successful for Philadelphia because of Kelsey, a future Hall of Famer at center, and that offensive line, and the fact that Jalen Hurts has such tremendous upper body strength and lower body strength that he can get a yard on his own.
Josh Allen, you can do it. Tua, you can't do it.
Right.
Bryce Young, you can't do it. Daniel Jones, you can do it. Yeah. So, I mean, there are certain teams that could actually do this. And if I'm an offensive coordinator and I've got one of those quarterbacks like a Dak Prescott or a Daniel Jones, I'm implementing.
Like Miami wouldn't do it for exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
They don't want to risk Tua. I promise you, Miami would punt it on. Now, they go for a lot of fourth downs because McDaniel is a gambler, but they would punt it before doing that just to not risk hurting him.
Before you tell us about Newer Butcher Shop, I think I'm right about this, and help me, the older people in the chat room, and you guys maybe remember, there was a time you could not push the pile, right? You couldn't push a player or a pile, but now you see it everywhere.
Yeah, the old bush push in college was technically, I think, illegal at the time, wasn't it? And they just didn't call it.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So, and I think that was true in the NFL, too. I think it's a new rule that allows you to push, but it's really more designed for, like, back gets stood up, the offensive lineman can come downfield and push him downfield.
I don't like that. I don't think you should be able to do that.
No, I mean, I'm fine with that. Yeah, just change the rule.
It's a part of the game. As a fan watching, I don't like when we get in that big pile now and people start pushing that big pile for another 3, 4, or 5 yards.
Yeah,
to me, I'm not watching rugby. I don't want to watch rugby.
I'm with you. And
that play has been stopped. It's been stood up. Let's blow the whistle. Let's move on.
And I'm interested in what you think about this. I told Dunaway, anytime something becomes automatic, the NFL likes to change the rule. They do not like automatic in the NFL.
Well, I don't either. I mean, the extra point got so boring.
It got so automatic. What they do, they added 20 yards to it, right? And now it's not automatic anymore.
They'll probably, if it's just the Eagles doing it, I don't know. It'll take a little bit. If other teams start to implement it, it will get taken away.
Now, on the flip side of that, block punt, Alabama Ole Miss the other day. And Alabama's got the ball to 1.5 yard line with Jalen Milroe. I was screaming, "Run the Eagle play!" Run! I didn't know it was tush push at the time. I'm uncomfortable saying that, but run the Eagle play.
How do you not in these short yardage situations? It's a given that you're not going to line up under center.
Can we get a tush push T-shirt?
Who's going to buy that?
Oh, thousands of people.
It has to be on the backside, though.
Yes.
No, you could give them out to the winners of the 36 countries yesterday.
Oh, yeah, the USA guy.
Oh, yeah. The guy with the bedazzled bat.
We could go in the nextround.store for all your merchandise. Women's green and silver shorts, Eagle colors, and put tush push on the back. I bet that would sell.
Yeah.
I mean,
classy women,
Why
too.
Why can't they be male shorts?
Or male.
Okay.
Non-gender shorts, Rockstar.
You know what sells?
New York Butcher Shop.
Yes.
New York Butcher Shop, yes.
Great meat at the New York Butcher Shop. Certified Angus prime beef steaks, burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, all natural chicken cut to order just for you. Chef-prepared entrees, side dishes, perfect dinner-to-go choice for you and your family. Ready to heat at home with a great selection of fine wines and desserts. New York Butcher Shop, one-stop dinner shop, 2 locations, Cava Heights, Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Follow Rockstar on Twitter @RockstarBHM.
Football season is here, and Legacy Credit Card is just what you need to manage your spending safely and wisely. Credit cards offer better consumer protection against fraud when compared to a debit card, which is linked directly to your bank account. Legacy offers rates as low as 8.9% APR on credit cards compared to major card providers who advertise rates as high as 29% APR. Look no further than Legacy. Open a credit card online in minutes at legacycreditunion.com/join. APR's annual percentage rate, rates, and offers subject to change. See website for details. Federally insured by NCUA. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
The Next Round golf cart is back and it's presented by Urology Centers of Alabama. For $89, play Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the renovated Woodward Golf Club. $247 in value for just $89. Or get bonus gifts with the Deluxe Golf Cart for $119. No restrictions, good through September of 2024, but supplies are limited. Buy right now at nextround.store.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
Make sure to start your day at nextroundlive.com. Get caught up on the latest podcasts and videos from the live daily show, plus specialty shows such as the Mystery Fifth Hour. You can also learn more about the whole staff at Double Down Media, find all of our social media feeds, see the latest videos from our YouTube channel and gaming channel, plus find other ways to consume the show like the Next Round mobile app, which you can download direct from the site via your iOS and Android device. Make nextroundlive.com your homepage and stay up to date with everything from us here at the Next Round.
You know, every time I walk into the lobby, they're always like, I'm amazed at what I learn on the show every day from you, Jim. Just the reading and stuff that I put in between shows.
I've never heard anybody say that. Did they say it to you?
Me either. It must be in my head.
The reading you put in?
Yes, just to bring things like thirst trap to the story, now in the dictionary and things like that.
Yeah, that was amazing.
The Ryder Cup starts at 12:35 Central Time tonight. Early all the way until Sunday, early Sunday morning on NBC, USA Network tonight. Last time the U.S. won in European soil 30 years ago, Raymond Floyd and Tom Kite won individual matches for the U.S.
It's been a minute.
Raymond Floyd is now 81. Tom Kite is 73.
Wow.
They were on the USA team the last time we won the Ryder Cup on European soil.
What is the overall number right now in mybookie.ag?
The U.S. is a slim favorite. Is that what you're asking me for?
Yeah, like minus 120.
Mybookie.ag, actually, it's flipped around now. Europe is minus 106, the USA plus 100.
Oh, so now the Europeans are favored?
Right? Yeah, Europeans are favored. That's a change, actually, because the U.S. opened the week as favorites.
I mean, I know Koepka's playing for the U.S. I mean, who are some of the guys?
Wyndham Clark, Brian Harmon, two of the newcomers.
Yeah, Justin Thomas, Colin Morikawa, Jordan Spieth.
It's more about who's not playing for the Europeans, LT. For the first time since 1995, one of these guys have been on the roster every year since 95 for the Ryder Cup. But this year there's no Poulter, no Garcia, no Westwood, and no Graham McDowell, UAB star, because they all did what?
Well, some of it's because they went to live.
All four of them went to live and gave up their position.
They did.
With their version of the PGA.
Right. Now, there's no guarantee that all those guys would have been on there had they stayed because of their form right now. But still, they were not eligible because they went to live. Koepka, because of his major performance, could not be denied. Do you realize that over that same time period, 30 years, that today Tua Tagovailoa was named the AFC Offensive Player of the Month? Obviously, right? I mean, who else you going to go with? First Dolphins player to win that in 30 years.
Oh, my gosh.
Can you believe that?
It's like Dan Marino those days?
Yeah, back to Dan Marino.
Wow.
It's only happened 4 times in Dolphins history. Dan Marino twice, Scott Mitchell at quarterback once.
You would appreciate this in Unlock yesterday, a great Dan Marino story. Did you guys realize he's got one of the top 100 cabs in the world?
Cabs?
Cabernets.
Cabernets.
I did not know that.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
You can get that whole unlocked version at your convenience. Disrupt the media, like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. But Unlocked is our extra play today, our overtime at 12 noon. So you don't have to change the channel or anything. Catch LT and Brock Heward in Unlocked today at 12 noon coming up. Couple of sponsors to tell you about before we get to trash. One of them is our friends at Maestro Dobel Diamante Tequila, absolutely best tequila in the world, and they use all the regions of the world to make this wonderful tequila, including the Balkan region in Eastern Europe where they get their wood barrels to age the tequila. This aging process makes it a balanced, smooth, clear tequila. Great agave flavor. It is crystal clear. It's the best tequila on the market. Ask for it by name. It is Maestro Dobel Diamante, Maestro Dobel Diamante. Also by Champy's Chicken, wonderful place to pick up a Dobel Diamante on the rocks, or maybe you want one of the great Megan margaritas there. You can do that all at champyschicken.com. Great southern fried chicken and a lot more. Highway 119 in Alabaster, perfect for the weekend and everything. It is champyschicken.com. Rockstar, hit the big button, man.
I'm here with the winner here's Derek Lewis. Derek, why'd you take your pants off? My balls was hot. I understand.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Hey, buying a home, major milestone in life. Getting it right comes down to the right advice at the right time. That's why we're proud to partner with our friends at Mortgage Right who do mortgages the right way. Call them today, 205-815-9200. You can always go online, mortgageright.com/TNR, NMLS 2239, equal housing lender. We start first. A rabid otter attacked a man last week in Florida, according to health officials.
Beaver or otter?
Otter.
I thought otters were pretty kind animals. I thought they were in good spirits. Yeah, docile.
What's the difference between an otter and a beaver?
Spelling for one.
Nobody eats otter.
Yeah, I don't know
They
if
make
it's
good,
edible.
iPhone cases.
Yeah, I really don't think it is. I've never, I've heard of a beaver casserole. I remember Tony Curry, we used to work with.
Of course, it's Tony.
Yeah, totally.
I know.
No, but legitimately, like somebody in his family put together a beaver casserole.
So many Tony Curry jokes.
Yeah.
Jacob Zeno told us on his interview this week he eats raccoon.
Yeah.
He said it's like pot roast. He says you can't tell the difference between raccoon and pot roast.
That's how one of our original bracket challenges ended up. Takeo Spikes was on the show with me and Ian back in the day, and he talked about his love for the raccoon.
Yeah. So he said you cannot tell the difference between that and pot roast, to which I want to say, well, why don't you just eat pot roast?
Yeah.
I don't know why you
You can tell the difference. It was disgusting.
Well, Dunaway, beavers have their backs and head out of the water, while river otters have just their head and neck above the water's surface when they're swimming.
And I don't think otters have that big flapper that beavers have.
I don't think they have.
Dude, how many whiskers does an otter have?
A lot, man. They don't shave.
Now, the Florida Department of Health said the attack happened Wednesday in Jupiter, Florida. According to WPTV, 74-year-old told Animal Care and Control that he was feeding corn to the ducks at a nearby pond, was returning home when he spotted the otter. The man began to back up slowly while facing the otter when the animal attacked him for several minutes. Man suffered dozens of wounds on his arms and legs. The victim told WPTV that he was receiving shots for rabies exposure and was visiting a hand surgeon to see if he suffered any permanent damage. Now, the otter was captured, tested for rabies. I wonder if any of our viewers or listeners have had the rabies shots, because I heard they're terrible. I heard it's a long-ass needle and they put it in your stomach.
That's what they used to do. I don't know if they still do it that way. That was sort of technology. You think they had that technology in the 50s and 60s and decided, we're not going to upgrade this. Still in 2023, we're going to jab a long needle into your stomach. Surely we've developed that a little further along.
I would hope, but I don't know. Now, the mayor of a small mid-state town, Burns, Tennessee, has been arrested on a domestic assault charge. Landon Mathis, the mayor, was taken into custody for an incident that happened on Sunday. According to court documents from the Dixon County Sheriff's Office, the son of Mathis' girlfriend
got a little Matt Murphy at him.
Told deputies he and Mathis, quote, made a deal about weed eating the yard for $40. The victim said Mathis later told him he wasn't going to pay him for the job. Physical altercation ensued shortly afterwards, where Mathis is accused of pushing his girlfriend's son onto the couch and leaving marks on his neck. Court documents allege Mathis' girlfriend told the two to break up. When the victim was walking away, Mathis reportedly stepped on his feet, grabbed him, body slammed him into a neck hold, then twisted his nose.
Oh, WWE. He looks like that comedian is like, you can tell by my weight I like Cajun food. I'm going to come here and they're not going to give me that Cajun food.
Who's he talking about? I know who he is.
No, I don't.
I can't remember
exactly
his name, but he's a big
about.
overweight, blonde-haired guy. Was in studio with us one time. He did the
Ralphie May?
Ralphie May. He's got a little Ralphie May in his
that's
face.
Not at all who I thought you were talking about.
Ralphie May and John Pinette.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about John Pinette.
I thought you were talking about John Reed.
Ralphie May's got his undercarriage.
The difference there is you were kind of funny doing that. Ralphie May was not.
By the way, we're going to have a big comedian in studio in October.
Not Ralphie May.
A big one?
Not Ralphie May. He's in a tomb somewhere.
Yeah, we will
He's
not.
long gone.
Yeah.
A big one, huh?
Yeah, I mean, big name, yeah.
Big name?
Yeah. I'll tell you guys a break. Rise of virtual AI girlfriends is enabling the silent epidemic of loneliness in an entire generation of young men.
I can create my own girlfriend, LT?
It's also having severe consequences for America's future. Now, how is something that seems so ridiculous, virtual AI, God almighty, girlfriend, causing a future crisis among Americans? Well, with millions of users, apps have created virtual girlfriends that talk to you, love you, allow you to live out your erotic fantasies, and learn through data exactly what you like and what you don't like, creating the, quote, perfect relationship.
I'll take a number 4 combo, please.
You like him in the business attire there?
Yeah, number 4 is very proper.
A little buttoned up.
Number 4 looks like she's about ready to read me the local news.
5 is the girl you can take home, and then the other 3.
Look like you met him at a night out.
Yeah.
Now, these virtual girlfriends can even be based on real people. One influence created an AI bot of herself named Karen that gained 1,000 users, i.e. real boyfriends, in less than a week and a wait list of more than 15,000 people. An AI girlfriend might sound enticing. You get to connect with a super hot girl who listens to you, appreciates you 24/7. Beyond choosing physical attributes down to the size of her backside, you can pick her personality. You prefer hot, funny, bold? Well, that's what she'll be. Now, let's look at the hard numbers. More than 60% of young men aged 18 to 30 are single compared to only 30% of women the same age. 1 in 5 men report to not having a single close friend, a number that has quadrupled in the last 30 years.
Dare I say, if I'm ordering off the menu, Rockstar, number 2, you can't really tell because I can't tell. The joke's not going to work because of the ticker at the bottom.
Right.
But number 2 just looks like the number 1 biggie sized.
Oh, my. I like.
Hey, so
Sky helped you out there, yeah.
If we've ever wondered why people are like killing it on OnlyFans and people are actually subscribing to OnlyFans, to have 15,000 people on a wait list for one AI girlfriend.
Yeah,
would you be jealous if I have the same girlfriend as you? Like I designed it just my specifications. Like you have 136 too?
Oh, you'll have a nerd kill another nerd over this.
But there was some.
That's my design.
There was some lady that was like, she fishes, and she had bought her boat by working, I guess, at OnlyFans. I never got the joke. It came across my feed on TikTok, and she was like, nobody in my town knows how I paid for my boat without getting a loan. And I didn't click on it to find out, so I assumed it was just OnlyFans.
Probably so.
But she says that's what having 500 loyal monthly customers will do.
She didn't say I wiggled my bait and caught a lot of subscribers.
Maybe she did. I wasn't on it very long. But
cook a dead fish.
But if you're paying what $10 a month, 500 of 500 people, that's $5,000 a month just on that, right?
Oh, $100 you said?
10.
He said 10. He did the right math. Jim did the right math.
Yeah.
Here's that auction item that I told you guys. Very interesting. A pair of theater tickets used on the night Abraham Lincoln was assassinated have sold at an auction for $262,500.
Didn't even get to see the whole play.
Tickets sold by a Boston auction house are dated April 14th, 1865, and they include handwritten details such as the prime front row seat assignments. Only one other used ticket, which is in the collection of the Harvard University, is known to exist.
Now that's not the president's ticket, though, right?
No.
I mean, he didn't have one.
Now, the auction tickets are for Section D, seats 41 and 42 in the front row of the theater's upper level and, quote, more or less directly across from the president's box,
More or
the
less.
auction house said.
Yeah, I would go ahead and say the first one looks forged. I don't think that was actually matching the other one. It looks like they tried to scribble over something.
Wow.
They're trying to sell me Section D 41 and Section D 22. That's why we have ATICs, to get legitimate tickets.
It says good this night only, printed on the front. On the top right corners have been clipped off. The auction house described this pair as in, quote, very good condition with some light creasing.
I would agree. That's pretty good condition.
Yeah,
for that
you think
one.
they clipped it off? That's your.
Yeah.
As you come in, they cut them with scissors?
Yeah, it should show you used your ticket there.
Now, there's not a lot of things that I would like to own. I think this would be pretty cool to have, in a frame and put up.
And that was the name of the play, Dress Circle?
The name of the play was Our American Cousin, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I think Rockstar's right about that.
Yeah.
And I think that was the last time the play was ever done. I don't think they ever did it again.
That was kind of left a sour taste.
No, I think they shut it down after that, right? I think it was supposed to go to other cities, and they're like, what's the president's been killed?
Why would you not? Oh, my. They had this one guy. He's an actor, right?
It's like a rain show for Taylor Swift.
Hey, I
what if you just
guarantee
worked
you-
that in a play in every city? At that point, it's always like,
What was the name of the play?
Our American Cousin.
If you brought that back right now, people would go see it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know anything about it.
Especially if they reenacted the shooting.
But when you,
up in the booth behind you.
Oh, you didn't know who got
and
shot.
then the chaos.
No, you don't know who gets shot.
Yeah, you
Oh,
gotta
man,
figure that
Vin
out.
Diesel plays Lincoln in this next one. Oh, my God. He's so good.
But if you get shot, like whoever's with you gets like $1 million.
But is it at the same place in the play every time somebody gets shot? So
Yeah.
you're like, you know when it's going to happen? Yeah, because
I don't know. I think I would play
wanna
around with
surprise
that.
it? Yeah.
Okay, here are some astronomical purchases. Rich people have the option to not get rained on during their wedding day. I don't know if I believe this, Rocky, because they can opt for cloud seeding service. which utilizes the expertise of pilots and meteorologists to add substances into the clouds, forcing them to rain ahead of time for the cheap price of $100,000.
I believe in this.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to say rich people are getting swindled right here.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. You can't like outsmart Mother Nature.
That's right. God's controlling the rain, Jimmy.
I think James, they built a graph.
I think James Spann has been working for years to figure this crap out, and he's got it figured out. Throw a few seeds in there.
Kurt Cobain's MTV Unplugged sweater sold at an auction for $334,000. It looks very itchy.
Yeah,
it really does.
I remember watching it when it originally aired and many times since. It does not look like it smells good.
He looks like the Chucky doll from yesterday.
Yeah, it's one of the best unplugs ever.
Yeah, it was good. Marty McFly's hoverboard went for $500,000.
Does it really work? I bet. I think it's just a prop.
What a waste of money there. I would rather have the tickets to the Ford Theater.
Had you?
Yep.
Would you try to get into play right now? I've got tickets.
I'd rather have that girl on the left's braces.
How about this? If you're rich and want to cut in line at Disney, you can book private VIP tours for the modest price of $425 to $625 per hour, depending on the season.
Per hour.
Considering the minimum duration is 7 hours, they will need to pay up to between $3,000 and $4,300 for a day's visit.
Look, the way you spend money at Disney, that would almost go unnoticed.
Yeah, the Lunsfords done this.
But I'm saying, is that per person? That's what I don't understand. Like,
I'm sure it is per ticket.
Boy, they need a hand model on that thing, though.
Yeah, she's a little rough.
That is a rough nail.
Working so hard, I haven't been able to get my thumbnail worked out.
And finally, Mukesh Ambani built a home for around $1 billion. Now, the richest man in India built his 400,000 square foot residence in Mumbai. It has 27 stories, a garage with space for 168 cars, 3 helipads on the roof, gardens spreading over 3 floors, and many other, according to this story, ridiculous things. Why would you need 3 helipads?
Well, I don't know how many times, though, I've said I wish I had another helipad.
Well, you don't want to, have your friends over and you have to move your helicopter, allow them land, and then they have to fly off and let somebody else land.
Tony, can you go move your helicopter so Fred can land? I mean, that's just a pain.
Fred's got to leave. Yeah. Can somebody move your helicopter?
That just shuts
the
party down.
Can you imagine having that much money where you have $1 billion house?
No. And go back to it, Forrester. Chances are good that you left your helicopter keys down on the 3rd floor and you got to go all the way from the penthouse all the way down to get them.
There's an elevator in that one.
Yeah. He's a happy guy, though. Look at him.
Not well designed, though. It looks like, I'm going to build it up to this point. Oh, I got enough money to do the next one.
You're a kid, you're just stacking Legos.
Yeah, you know what it looks like? It looks like stadiums when they just add on and there's no plan to them.
Now I'm gonna put a helideck here. Oh, now we got room for 3-4 more floors. Yeah. Boom. Now we're going to put Auburn's press box here. Boom. Now a helideck.
So the dude will whiten his teeth to a different level white, but he won't wax that brow.
Detail, man. He's not attention to detail guy.
Got a slight part right down the middle. That is trash today, all the way from Mumbai.
Yeah, let the experts at Mortgage Right help get your financial house in order with locations in Birmingham and Leeds. Mortgage Right offers a variety of loan products, fast and free pre-approvals, reliable hands assistance that will help you take advantage of all available home buying and refinance options. Take control today. Visit Mortgage Right location in 280 in Birmingham Parkway Drive in Leeds. You can apply. MortgageRight.com/TNR or 205-815-9200.
Trent Dilfer joins us next. The show brought to you in part by our friends at NASCAR. Talladega Superspeedway.com. TalladegaSuperspeedway.com for tickets this weekend.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at ScottForresterTV.
The next round is brought to you in part by the biggest, baddest track in NASCAR, Talladega Superspeedway. This beast is 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and always puts on a great show for the fans. The Yellowwood 500 NASCAR Playoffs weekend is coming and you do not want to miss it. Saturday, September 30th is the Craftsman Truck Series Playoffs race, followed by Sunday's Yellowwood 500 in the NASCAR Cup Series Playoffs. Be there to see drivers battle 500 miles to survive. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
The Double Down Media podcast family is live and full of content for all ages. The Mystery Fifth Hour gives the next round hosts a chance to talk about everything but sports. Pour a glass of Bama and bourbon, our weekly college football conversation, while sipping some of the most interesting pours in the bourbon world. And our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, presented by Redmont Vodka. LT has in-depth conversations with personalities like Clay Travis and Taylor Hicks. Find those podcasts and more by searching The Next Round on Apple and Spotify. And remember to like and subscribe.
You have all heard of Red Wing Shoes, but what is Red Wing Shoes? It's the place where men buy boots, plain and simple. Who are Red Wing's customers? They are construction workers, warehouse employees, college students, the guy that fixes your AC, the guy at the end of the bar, the IT guy. Red Wing is a father, Red Wing is a son, Red Wing is a cult following shared by all men. A classic, comfortable pair of cool boots with a story to tell. What's your Red Wing story? Red Wing Shoe Stores, located in Pelham and Trussville. DryTech Water Restoration is a locally owned company that specializes in mold remediation, fire and water damage cleanup, and SteraMist services. DryTech's goal is to provide clients with expert guidance when dealing with any home disaster. DryTech's highly trained specialists are available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They will work closely with you and your insurance company to make sure the process is stress-free as possible. Call DryTech today, 205-637-0143. The moment you discover damage to your home, DryTech's team will handle the rest.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
The Next Round Golf Cart is here. Your chance to play 4 area golf courses for just $89. Get 18 holes of golf and cart at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. That's a value of $247 for just $89. Or get the Next Round Deluxe Golf Cart for just $119. It gets you all 4 courses with cart, plus an exclusive Next Round Golf t-shirt, koozie, golf tees, and a sticker. There are no restrictions. The cart is good through September 2024. Get your golf cart now at nextround.store.
Let's talk UAB football now. Trent Dilfer joins us every week, brought to you by our friends at Legacy, a proud supporter of UAB for 6 decades.
Coach is with us now, fresh off the practice field, getting ready for Tulane. Welcome in, Coach. Hope you are doing well today.
How are we doing, guys?
Doing awesome. I mean, look, you want your team to get tested by the best. Georgia is the best team in the country right now, according to the voters. They've certainly got a great track record with the last 2 national championships. What did you learn from seeing your team go up against a test like that?
Last week, that was the goal, was us versus us. We had to get better. We played some really bad football. Not that we played great football against Georgia, but there's a process that you have to go through before you can play well. And part of that's just having emotional stability, the ability to focus for an entire game, not get caught up in things you can't control, not getting distracted by the exterior around you, the circumstances. And I thought we did a really good job with all of that. We definitely got better. We didn't let the bigness of the moment or the atmosphere, the TV game, or all the distractions affect us. I thought the guys were able to reset and refocus throughout the entire game. We're still not executing at the level we want to, but we played with great effort. Our sideline energy was fantastic. Players really bought into the process of getting better, not just through the week, but in that game. Some of our best football was late in the game, which was impressive. But saying all that, it still doesn't erase the fact that you lost and got smoked, actually. So I don't want that the standard to be around here, where people talk about moral victories. Do some improvement.
Coach, we do hear some people say, you know what, Georgia doesn't look as good as they have the last couple of years. You saw them up close and personal. I mean, the speed is incredible when we saw them the last couple of years. But what did you take from that Georgia team?
Well, I think they have the potential to be as good. They didn't play as well against us. I bet you they graded out kind of that C minus area. They made some mistakes, but physically they are every bit as good. They're extremely powerful, explosive. They're long areas you need to be long. They're really smart. Their secondary and linebacking core is incredibly smart. The quarterback is getting better each week. I think they have a multitude of running backs they can give the ball to. They have explosive weapons outside, and they have one of the best players in the country in Brock Bowers. And if you noticed, when we were having some success defensively against them, I thought they did a really good job of adjusting their game plan and not trying to kill us, but try to nick us to death. And that's what they did with Bowers. They got the ball out in the flats quick, let him run with the ball. They mixed in run and some action shots to that. So I think they're finding who they are, and they're going to be one of the best teams, if not the best team, by the end of the season.
51 passes from Jacob, 38 the week before. When a recruit, a receiving, and a quarterback recruit comes visit with you, is that the kind of offense you like to sell? That we're going to sling the ball around the yard, come play with us, we're going to have fun and throw the thing?
Well, I'd like to say we're going to score more points and we're going to be balanced, because I like to recruit running backs as well and offensive linemen that will play in the NFL one day, and that's what we're trying to do. We're not running it as well as we'd like, obviously. There's no secret to that. If you look at my track record, Mort's track record, we believe in running the football. We just haven't been able to do it as successful as we want. The ability to throw the ball and move the chains gives you more plays, especially with the tempos. Right now we're averaging 77 plays. If we start running the ball, we think we can get that in the mid-80s. You get in the mid-80s, now you're far more explosive. You get more opportunities to carry the football. You wear on the defense more. You still can have a high volume of passes. But yeah, as we're recruiting, we're trying to show them it's more than just the stats too. It's the vibe in the building. We're 1-3, but the guys are coming to work every day fired up. They love being around each other. They love being around the coaches. It's an environment where they can grow on and off the field. So I think in terms of recruiting, yeah, we have a lot to offer from our systems, but I think we have even more to offer with how we treat kids.
Coach Trent Dilfer for a few more moments on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline, presented each week by Legacy Credit Union, the official credit union of the UAB Blazers. You're at 115 a game. Where do you want to see that number? Is it in terms of rushing offense?
To me, it's never been yards. It's been yards per carry.
Okay.
I think you want to get – I believe in being in the sixes and yards per carry. Means you're an explosive running team, and you're also going to have a lot of short yardage runs in there that's going to drop your numbers. So you got to have the 9 to 15 yard carries to balance out the 2 and 3, 4 yard carries. So I've never been a yards guy. I've been a points and yards per play guy. I think if you're yards per play, you're scoring points and you're playing well in critical downs. The number that bothers me the most this year is we're 4 for 9 on fourth downs. Out of those 9, we should be 8 if we just execute. One of them's a bad call, is egregious pass interference against Louisiana. It's not called. But besides that, we're just not executing in critical downs. And if we're 8 for 9, 9 for 9 on fourth down, that's at least another 27 plays. So more plays, more production, more possibility for explosion. So that's the number that's keeping me up at night. That and the turnovers.
You guys went against an inexperienced quarterback last week in Carson Beck. He's got a ton of potential, but this week, defense really has a challenge with a very experienced quarterback in Michael Pratt, a 4-year starter.
Yeah, and a future pro. This kid's going to play professional football. He's very, very talented. He's a little banged up, but he's still playing at a high level. He's a very, very gifted vertical passer. Kind of that second, third level passer. He's as good as you'll find. Has a lot of solutions at the line of scrimmage to get them out of trouble, handles the run game well, makes good decisions, is a dynamic runner when they run him. This kid's a really, really good football player. So again, we have our work cut out for us, but I think that's going to be the story of the season, right? Like, we like hard things. We put ourselves in a hole. We got to dig ourselves out. We're not looking for a relief game. We're looking for another challenge, and we definitely are getting one with the Cotton Bowl champions.
That's right, and a team that recently was in the top 25, and they hope to be back there one day soon. The next 2 weeks are special because so many people at the program and in the city worked very hard to get UAB into this conference, into the American. And here you go, on the road for the American debut, and then home to South Florida in the American. Just tell me, for the people around you and for your program now that you're in charge of, what these 2 games mean over the next 2 weeks to finally be in this league.
I think it's really significant for the reasons you mentioned. I mean, there's so many people that invested so much time, energy, equity, sweat equity into this process. I think there's, Bill Clark should feel very proud. This never happens unless he builds this program back from oblivion. And our athletic department, our institution, the donor base, the fan base, as much as the city. There were people that are Auburn and Alabama people, graduates that still invested in UAB football so that we could be in this moment. So we want to represent them better than we have, to be honest with you. We want to make them proud by how we entered the American. It's been a topic of conversation around here daily this week. And we definitely want to honor those that have invested so much.
You can watch the game from New Orleans if you don't happen to make the trip down there on ESPN2, 11 o'clock, UAB at Tulane. Coach, best of luck in the game. We always appreciate the time.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
All right, take care. Coach Trent Dilfer with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline presented by Legacy.
Yeah, Legacy has everyday checking right now available for teens 13 to 17 with adult sign-up. It's a great way to teach your kids how to manage their money and handle their debit card responsibly. No monthly fees, no minimum balance required, and you get paid early. Apply online in minutes today at legacycreditunion.com/join. legacycreditunion.com/join. Terms and conditions may apply. Legacy is federally insured by the NCUA.
It's partially a product of how ineffective they are at running the football, like he said, but Jacob Zeno is 9th in the country in yards per game. I mean, if I told you that in the preseason, you'd have felt good about it.
Well, I'll tell you, he didn't look overwhelmed against Georgia.
He didn't.
I mean, he played well.
300 yards a game he's throwing.
He's been in big games before from his days at Baylor when he was forced into action there. And they've got a player in Zeno, and they got some talent on that roster. Next 2 weeks, Tulane and USF. Do they have a chance to win 2, split them? Or do you think they're 0-2?
Oh, they're not beating Tulane.
Not beating Tulane on the road?
No. And USF is, I mean, they built on, I think, a little bit on that performance against Alabama. I mean, you could say how, what Alabama was doing. It was a scrimmage or whatever. But it seems like that kind of gave them a little pop.
Oh, did they win last week? I thought
they won 2 weeks ago, right? And I was trying to find their score from last week.
Yeah, I thought they struggled coming out after Alabama. Maybe it was a close game or what. While you look that up, tell us about our friends at Odie's. It was a fun time last night. What was the question?
The question last night: what came first, Lil Wayne or Donkey Kong?
Oh, it's got to be Donkey Kong, man. Donkey Kong was the OG, man. It was the original video game. I remember. I was throwing quarters into it at an ice cream.
Okay, you remember yesterday I told you Lil Wayne turned 42 years old.
Yeah,
right?
I think he's older than Donkey Kong.
I thought Donkey Kong was around in 1982.
Lil Wayne 1982, Donkey Kong 1981.
So Donkey Kong is older.
Yeah,
just not by as much as I thought.
Yeah, that's
how about I was close on the Donkey Kong age, just out of memory there.
Some of the knowledge you learn at Odie's Team Trivia every Wednesday night, the original Crestline Village. There's a new location at Homewood right there on Oxmoor Road off of Broadway. Stop in. Great food from Rodney Davis, award-winning wings, delicious burgers, fantastic sandwiches, ice-cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. Stop in. See Will Haver and that great staff, Odie's Tavern.
42-29, they beat Rice last week, and they're at Navy this week, USF is. So, yeah, they bounced back a little bit from that Bama.
All right. When we come back, we're not going anywhere. Top of the hour here in about 50 seconds, you will get Unlocked with Lance and Brock Heward, where you guys discuss several things, including what true love really is.
What true love is, a colorblind quarterback in the NFL, and how Dan Marino has achieved one of the 100 greatest cabs in the world.
Cabs, not as in old school taxi, but in the great wine. All that's coming up in 30 seconds. Unlocked. Don't forget tonight, 5 to 7, Bud Light Game Night, Overtime Bar and Grill, 5 to 7. Come by, get that QR code shot. And you got a chance to win Iron Bowl tickets at the end of the year thanks to our friends at Bud Light. Overtime Bar and Grill off of I-65 and Lakeshore. Throw it into the Waze and GPS and get there and watch us. I'm about to record another Talk of Champions with Tyler Watts. That'll be up later today at Disrupt the Media. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.
Jim Dunaway.
Hey, welcome into another week edition of Unlocked with Fox's Brock Heward. I'm Lance Taylor from the Next Round. It is on Disrupt the Media. Like and subscribe. It's brought to you by MyBookie. They're giving 110% back. You put in $100, you get $110. Use that code Next Round and get that deposit match on your bonus. First deposit, mybookie.ag. How was it in Salt Lake?
It was fun. Yeah, it wasn't the nighttime Rice Eccles, and even the UCLA coaches, Tim Drevno, I've known a long time, the O-line coach, Chip, they said, Chip was pretty honest that when the schedule came out, they went, I like that. I like a I like a 1:30 kick a whole lot better than a 7 o'clock kick because you give those folks all day to get ready, and that is a madhouse. It was still rocking, and they are still great fans. I'll stand by what I said to you last week as far as venues go west of the Rocky Mountains. Right now, it's harder to find a more hostile, difficult place to play, and it was a little baptism by fire for the young quarterback. Dante Moore, first play of the game, just run as simple a concept as you can. He doesn't see it; it's flying by him, and it's a pick six the other way. So it was a great scene. Always love making the trip to Salt Lake.
That Utah defense is, I mean, they
Salty.
are good. Yeah, really.
Salty.
And then you look offensively, we were waiting to see if Cam Rising was going to play. It looked like it was going to be a 50-50 game time decision, which it was. He came out in street clothes. You were there.
Yeah.
Defense is great. Nate Johnson has got a skill set. He just doesn't have the experience right now, and not a lot of ball security. Fumbled 3 times, lost 2 of those. I don't know if they can go into Corvallis without Cam Rising and win this game.
Yeah, he's got to play a lot better. And I'll just clarify one thing there for you, bud. He actually warmed up. He came out before like early warm-ups in the knee brace, and then he came out for warm-ups without the brace, but full uniform, and was taking reps and not really. Well, yeah, he was still taking reps with the ones too, and making it look. It was a good performance.
Did you
to
think
make it
he was
look
going
like
to play?
I had reservation. I was pretty sure he wasn't, but there was still some hope and some thought that he may. And then when he watched him warm up, he was in full pads. And I don't know, during the game, was he in street clothes or was he in uniform?
He came out in street clothes.
He did come out in street clothes. Well, he put on a show. He put on an early show, and then he put the full pads on. He put on a show. It made the UCLA folks certainly think for a bit, like, wow, maybe he is going to be able to go. Maybe this is the week he's going to be cleared. So if Nate plays that game, they can't win in Corvallis. He's got to play much, much better. But then again, you also saw the experience of the third longest tenured head coach in college football say, I'm not here for stats. I'm not here to pretty it up. Even if my home fans will boo the product and we won't look good and we'll run, punt, run, punt. I know what it takes to win, and they're not going to score multiple touchdowns on me in the way my defense is playing against this freshman. So, I think the game will dictate how Kyle will call it and how he will manage it. But yes, Nate's got to play better than he did, certainly Saturday, this Friday in a hostile Corvallis as well.
Yeah, man, I can't wait to see that game. It's great defenses, good offensive lines. Quarterbacks.
What's the line on it now? What is it? What are we looking at right now?
Oregon State 2.5, which is about right.
That does feel right.
Yeah, I don't want to doubt Kyle Whittingham because that defense is going to travel. I don't think the moment will be too big for them. Maybe it is for Nate Johnson. Is there zero chance Cam Rising's playing this Friday, though?
Oh, no. It truly is a week-to-week. Brant Keithy is also a very big deal. Cam gets the headlines, but Brant Keithy is an All-American caliber tight end. And the other tight ends are nowhere near that level. They've been so good at that position group here for a bunch of years that you're like, oh,
yeah, I don't even know if we hear about Dalton Kincaid if he doesn't go down last year.
That's right. I mean, Brant Keithy is a stud, and he is, unlike Cam, who tore it in January, Keithy tore it about 1 year ago, almost to the day in late September. So they need him. They need Vele to come all the way back. We'll see about the running back. That was a significant, I don't know if they're talking about him in the lower leg extremity as well. And so they are just, they are hit with an injury bug that is as nasty and bitten as violently as any injury bug that Kyle's ever seen, frankly, that I've ever seen in the month of September. And you stack all that up, that line starts to make some sense for the Beavers.
There is a assistant coach that is on a major hot seat right now, and the team's undefeated. It's in the top 5, and that is Alex Grinch at USC. Yeah. And for whatever reason, watching them in the Pac-12 championship game last year and against Tulane, it seemed like defenders were in position to make the tackles. They just couldn't make the tackles. It happened again Saturday night in Tempe. Look, they can get to the quarterback. USC right now has got 16 sacks. I think they're third nationally in that category. Yeah. And now you're going against a Colorado line that is awful, that's given up 26 sacks, the most in college football. But USC, 10 penalties. The defense didn't tackle well. Let me start with asking you this question. Is it Alex Grinch's fault if his team can't tackle?
Yeah, that's why I question. You said he's on the hot seat. Are you sure he's on the hot seat? Because
I don't know.
Lincoln has been as loyal to him as anybody he's ever had.
And he's a good coach.
He is. He knows his X's and O's. And to your point, it's not as if you see just breakdown. One of my old teammates who works over there at the Pac-12 Network, a guy named Nigel Burton, in the opener, I thought said this pretty well. He said, the one thing I'd like Alex to do is just simplify. You got a lot of new pieces. You got some transfers. You got new linebackers, some new D linemen. Just simplify. Just trust your team's speed. Trust your athleticism. Do what Jim Knowles, frankly, is doing at Ohio State and Columbus, saying, gosh, I don't need all this scheme. Sometimes just let me, call it, let guys play and react and play faster. But that's not necessarily Alex's DNA. It's never been his DNA. He wants to have scheme. He wants to outcall that opponent. He wants to do what Morgan Scalley does seemingly every week at Utah, and that's blow up that offensive scheme by out scheming them. So I'm with you. Other than he's not to me on the hot seat because Lincoln has shown nothing but loyalty to him. But do his guys play fast enough? When I see guys miss that many tackles in the open field, to your point, when I see them there but not finishing, to me, my analyst mind goes, yeah, you're too clouded, right? You've got too much going through your head. You're just not simplifying see ball, hit ball, finish tackle, that there's other stuff going on. So, and Colorado will make you do that. Sean Lewis at home and his scheme, they're going to go up and down the field. I don't have any question that Shedeur Sanders and some of their team speed and playing at home is going to move the ball 20-20. Do they get sacked? Do they get the ball taken away? That will be the difference in how close that game is in Boulder.
You mentioned Jim Knowles and their defense shut down Notre Dame. I mean, it wasn't if you like offensive football, you didn't love the game, but a lot of drama came down to that final play. And as a former player, how upset are you with your coaching staff that you've only got 10 on the field in that situation?
Yeah, you're pretty disappointed because there's a bunch of channels there. There's people up in the booth. Right. Programs of this level, it's like the NFL. You got coaches upon coaches and eyes upon eyes. You don't have, 9 assistants. You don't have 4 volunteer dad coaches like my son Titus's 8th grade team. Like you got a lot of personnel, a lot of resources, a lot of eyes on it. So the channel and the chain of command, to miss it from upstairs, to miss it on the sidelines, to miss it with whomever is in charge of personnel on the sidelines, to make sure this group is on the field. For Marcus Freeman to not look out there and be able to see that as a former D coordinator. For the linebackers, for goodness sake, sitting right behind there, like where's the beef? Old Wendy's commercial, where's the beef? Where is it? Call timeout. Just make sure you've got that personnel on the field. That is a failure at a bunch of levels there that's very, very hard to swallow.
Yeah, I can't believe. And Marcus Freeman said, hey, we were out of timeouts. I couldn't take the penalty. Why not? It's just a foot. Like, do you give up 10 players on 11?
Yes.
Or do you give up that foot? I mean, it just didn't make any sense to me.
No, that's a moment speeding up. That's an awfully big moment, as you said, an unbelievable drama, a script that I as I've gotten older, tend to appreciate. I kind of like some of the defense we're seeing. We're seeing teams like Utah play great defense, Ohio State play great defense. I got Michigan this week. They're giving up less than 6 points a game. That will change in conference play, but they're playing great team defense. I wouldn't mind at all if we see the pendulum swing as we always do in the cyclical nature of this game. You give me some defense instead of these, 50-40, 48-45, just, basketball on grass. I'm kind of glad we're seeing some spit and some blood and some sweat and some defense being played around the country.
Hey, look, we knew Ohio State was going to have a good defense just because of the caliber of player, but Mike Elko, what he's done at Duke, and now Notre Dame has to go from that emotional high where everybody was on that campus all week. They were getting hyped up. They had that game in hand, and they lose it on the last play to now you got to go to Durham where College Game Day is for the first time ever.
Yep.
And people don't realize, and I've brought this up a couple of times, like I said back in the summer, we were talking about games to watch out for, and I said Duke's going to beat Notre Dame at home. Now, whether or not that happens, we'll see. But people don't realize Duke was 9-4 last year. Their 4 losses by 1 possession, 3 of those by 3 or less points. Riley Leonard's only got 2 passing touchdowns. They're 4-0, but the defense is only giving up 8.8 points per game. That's a legitimate team.
Well, yeah, what's the over/under on that one? I think I'm going to take
probably 46.
Yeah,
mid-40s.
I think I told you last week at Salt Lake, take that under. You could just feel those things brewing. Everything that you just said right there. More than likely, Elko has been doing this a long time. I had him 10, 12 years ago at Wake Forest. I was like, man, this guy can flat out coach. I mean, to take the personnel that he's working with there from a height, weight, size, strength, speed, dynamic standpoint and do what he's doing against Clemson and Florida State and other teams, Virginia have so much more speed. That man could coach. He goes to A&M. He's on staff down there with my little brother. And I get more of the intel of like, this guy can really coach. And, just kind of waited for the right opportunity and got that opportunity. And, Cutcliffe was so good offensively, and Jim Knowles was with them there at Duke, and they won a bunch more games than their predecessors did. And they did it by being great X's and O's guys, knowing that chessboard and knowing how to put them in position for success. Elko does that defensively. You got a running quarterback. You're probably going to shorten that game a little bit. And yeah, that's going to be, I'd be shocked if that one swings too far one way or another. That one feels, buckle up, Notre Dame fans, that one feels like it's going to be finished in the final 5 minutes as well.
Yeah, as we sit here and we talk on Unlocked, I think it's become official that Mel Tucker is out at Michigan State. That's been going on the last few weeks. With that said, I mean, obviously it's Big Ten. It's a team that's played in a college football playoff. They can pay you a lot of money. If Mike Elko was offered that job, does he take it?
Yeah, I think the compelling piece of evidence you said right there at the jump, right? The Big Ten. Big Ten. You get a chance with a level playing field. Does Mike Elko feel now with a couple years under his belt as a head coach that enough time on task, learned, okay, I can bring this kind of staff, I can compete and recruit in this kind of way there? And does he have enough kind of that experience to go, yeah, this will be the right next step for me? Because assuredly, if he wants to, get to playoffs and win national championships, it's going to be very, very hard to do at Duke. You get to the Big Ten, you get those monies, those resources, the chance to recruit and develop and coach the way that you can coach. You've got a chance to get into a 12-team playoff.
In the Pac-12, as good as the league is in its final season that we've talked about, 5 undefeateds, the conference that leads the top 25 and undefeated teams is the ACC with 6 right now. Where do you put Duke in that pecking order? I mean, Clemson played their asses off, but they end up losing on a missed 29-yard field goal in overtime. Great grab by Keon Coleman. Yep. But they gave everything. And I don't know how much more Clemson has. They're already 0-2 in the ACC. I would assume you've got Florida State at the top. I like this Miami team. I like the Duke team, but the ACC is deep. I mean, if you went 1 through 3 right now in the ACC.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Because of the caliber of wins and just the grit and the athleticism and the NFL dudes down in Tallahassee, you're probably putting them 1. This is, and I think I've said this to you, Lance, a few different times, be it with Sark or with Mario Cristobal. Like, I need to see an emotional maturity from a leadership and the whole team, right? I need to see that over 12 weeks. Can you sustain in that way from the very top down with everybody in the organization and lead that organization in that way? So I'd probably put Florida State 1. Gosh, I like the way Miami is playing, right? That A&M win at the time, you're like, wow, maybe fire Jimbo, fire everybody, and A&M's bad. And then you're reminded, no, they're really not that bad.
Yeah. And that wasn't a fluke, I don't think. Watching Miami down 10 points in that game, their speed is crazy.
They are. And the one challenge for them is just a home environment. That Orange Bowl was such a, man, it was, and I know it wasn't right in Coral Gables, but it was not Pro Player Stadium as far away as this one is on a train. It had just kind of everything with the swag and everything. It was all about the U, right? I mean, that thing was just it was such a home field advantage. That's the hard part. That's the one element when you play off campus, as far as they do away from their epicenter. It makes it hard. But yeah, if I got to handicap those, I'd probably go gold, Florida State, silver to Miami, and then I've got to put Duke on the medal stand as well.
Fox's Brock Hewitt. It's Unlocked. It is brought to you by lanceslock.com. Jump on board with us again. Another big winning weekend. 15 units up from the weekend. You can go to lanceslock.com. We've got daily packages, weekly, monthly, annual packages. Jump on board. We will win for you at lanceslock.com. So in all the levels of football you've played, have you ever been in a game where either you guys scored 70 or 70 was laid on you?
Not college or professionally. No. Don't know if we'll ever see that again professionally.
I mean, my God, I cannot believe. I mean, 70 points is insane. And Miami, they bring Mike White in. I mean, they tried to call off the Dogs, and I mean, they couldn't stop scoring. And it is a complete disaster right now in Denver. We talked about this last week. You talked about how that market is just, they love their Denver Broncos. The credentialed media is more for Denver than any other NFL market out there. Where is everybody right now on Sean Payton?
I rated the whole thing. I rated ownership. I rated the head coach. I rated everybody. I mean, this has been and was such a proud organization. Mark Schlereth, a good buddy of mine, lives in Denver and does a morning radio show, and you can just feel from those old Broncos, the Terrell Davises, and Denver's also market a little bit, Lance, like Atlanta or somewhat in Dallas, but I'd say Atlanta and Denver, from my life experience, where a lot of the former players stay there. They don't want to leave. Like it's a good place to call home. It's got good schools. It's got good weather. It's got good environment. It's, they take care of some of their own in that way. And there's a lot of pride. And Schlereth has so much pride, and they've been and won Super Bowls, went to many Super Bowls, won a couple Super Bowls at the end of John's tenure in Elway. And to see where they've fallen since 2016, I mean, the numbers are staggering. The number of quarterbacks, the number of coaches, the number of coordinators, now a couple different owners. It's been a total mess. Now, having said all that, they do get Chicago and the Jets. So
I know, I saw that.
If there is going to be a chance, if there is going to be any light at the end of the tunnel, if we know the way this NFL works, you can look as bad as that one week and you can turn it around the next week. So somebody, either Chicago or Denver, is going to have a season ender on Sunday, more than likely.
I just don't know what happened. The defense was good last year. There was a number that if they would have scored like 18 plus, they would have started out the season like 8-2. I forgot exactly what it was, but the defense was really good.
Yes.
The offense was bad. Now it's all bad. And what they've given up to get Russell Wilson, hoping it would go the route of Tom Brady or the route of Matthew Stafford, it hadn't worked out. And so you wonder the next 2 or 3 years, how behind the 8 ball is the entire organization?
Well, there's a couple details on that. Number one, Russell, if you just looked at the raw numbers, his numbers are almost exactly the same as Patrick Mahomes through 3 games. So that's where figures don't lie, liars figure, right? You could spin those numbers and look at them that way. But the reality is just his elevating everyone around him. What he did in front of my eyes in Seattle for so many years, the wizard getting out of plays, right? Just the magician to extend plays. That's no longer there. So he could still throw the deep ball, and his deep ball is as good as anybody in the game, but having the run game and the protection and the style of game to be able to do that consistently has not been there. And they're going to have to make a decision, Lance. The way this deal is structured is in March, when the new league year, a week before the new league year begins, they've got to make a decision on him, not just for 2024, but the way that he and his agent wrote it is it's a 2-year guaranteed commitment. So this is a good QB draft. Depending on how off the rails this thing really does become, you are talking. And even, by the way, if you don't make that commitment and you move on, as you said, the amount of dead cap money is extraordinary for some years to come. So, yeah, not a real bright, shiny outlook in the old Rocky Mountains.
Any given Sunday, anyone can win. You played in the league. The Dallas Cowboys, though, they looked, at least, it was against New York, Giants and Jets, but a lot of people said, hey, look, this is the best team in the league. They roll in to play a Joshua Dobbs-led Arizona Cardinal team that I thought was going to tank for Caleb Williams. But how does this happen in this league where, like, I was so wrong. I had the Bears on Sunday. I hate to admit that. And they get completely walked off the field in Kansas City, and we'll get to a Kansas City aspect here in a little bit.
How could you have done that, Lance? Call me.
So stupid.
Call me before something like that. Some of them I can't help you with, and you're a genius and you're doing well. But
what would you have said on Dallas minus 11.5 in the desert against Arizona? I mean, first of all, what would you have said, and how does this happen? Is it getting complacent in a locker room and saying, dude, Josh Dobbs is starting a quarterback. We go through the motions. We win this game going away.
Well, I'll talk about the first one. Okay. Chicago was not going into Kansas City. That was ludicrous. I don't know what counsel you got on that. Was that Dunaway? It's probably one of your buddies.
It was 12.5 points. I thought they would keep it close. I thought Justin Fields had something to prove.
Desperation. Yeah. Wasn't buying that one. 11.5. I probably would have taken Arizona at 11.5. And I'll tell you why. Because Dallas lost their dude on the back end in practice.
Yeah.
And that hurts. That stings. Yeah, next man up. Oh, we'll wash it away. College football, you got 90 guys. Utah can weather some of it, right? You got walk-ons, good walk-ons. I got 100 guys. Next man up, you got next man up. They're getting pretty lean after next man and next man and next man and next man. But the way the NFL works, man, you lose one of your dudes, and you lose Diggs, who is just such a if it's a two-headed monster, right? If it's Micah on the front and was Trayvon on the back, those two work like peanut butter and jelly, and it was just. Oh, this is a tough meal to deal with. Well, you take one of them away and in practice, no less, those things emotionally can sting. And I'm not going to say it's going to derail the season, but I'm also going to not say it didn't play a role in maybe some of where they were going into that game. And in Arizona, they could pick on that a little bit and all of a sudden put the pressure on the opponent. And all of a sudden, hey, we're not just hanging around. And remember, Arizona, the first 2 weeks, first halves, played great ball. I mean, what were they up? 28-0 on the freaking Giants at one point. So they'd shown that they could do some things. They couldn't finish. And Dallas just, unfortunately, I don't know why you also don't kick a field goal there late. Like, come on, like, kick a field goal earlier. Like, get points on the board down there. Keep all the pressure's on you. At least soften a little bit and try to put the pressure back on Arizona. They didn't get the fourth down. And welcome to the NFL.
It's Fox's Brock Hewitt here on Unlock Disrupt the Media. Like and subscribe. It's brought to you by MyBookie. Make sure you put in that promo code next round, 110% back from our friends at MyBookie.ag. 3 undefeated teams in the NFL. You've got one in the Miami Dolphins that just laid 70 on Denver. You've got San Francisco. You've got Philadelphia that looked like Philadelphia from last year. Finally, even with Jalen Hurts playing with the flu. To me, there's 3 undefeated. I think those are the 3 best teams in the NFL. Would you agree?
Right now, yes. We will turn the calendar to October on Sunday. I guess we play Thursday night, so we can't quite turn that calendar. But, those 3. San Francisco has done it at home. They've done it on the road. They've taken their opponents apart. As you said, Philadelphia finally played kind of the 4 quarters that we saw a lot of last year where they imposed their will on both sides of the ball. So, those 2, I think, pretty much head and shoulders above others in the NFC. And Miami is fun. Right, for everything I said about, the college game, it's nice to see a level of defense. I would say inversely in the NFL, isn't this fun? I mean, it's fun to see just track star after track star after track star after track star with a Tua facilitating and slinging it all over the place, and an RPO game with a coach wearing joggers and vaping on the sideline. Like there's just a fun factor to the Dolphins.
That's what I was going to get to. Mike McDaniel. I mean, the dude is a complete nerd, but he looks like a gangster out there with his Armani shades, and he calls a wicked game. He does. He fits Miami perfectly.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say 70 points without Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, they said this, and it still rings true. I think you and I, before the season began, and we'll play them all back maybe at the end of the year and look at some of our predictions. You and I both like Baltimore a lot. I would say there's still a learning curve they're climbing with their new offensive coordinator and Lamar, and learning what works and what doesn't work. But for so many years, I would see scouts with the Ravens, because Ozzie Newsome just nailed it, right, Lance? Year after year. How do they do this? How do they draft? How does Ozzie do it? And I remember seeing one of their scouts one time, and he said, you know what? We call it just the Raven way. Like when we go on the road and we scout and we're on campuses and we watch these games, like that's a Raven. That dude's a Raven. Like that guy's a Raven. We have such a clear identity of who we are and what we are that we can identify those employees because, that's a Raven. Or you know what? That's not one of us. That doesn't fit. And right now, and I know it's early, but the playoff run last year and everything that you said about Mike McDaniel and the style and the flash, like, they're kind of building a little South Florida. Like this is what we are. The U did it for decades, right? They did it down there, and he's kind of building we got swag. And we're going to run by you, and we're going to attack you, and we're going to just draft the fastest dudes we can, and we're going to play at a speed and at a level, and you're going to have to come into our house in September or October in the humidity, and you're going to have to try to keep up with us, and that's real. Like Denver, I live here. It's beautiful. There's no humidity, though. You go down there in a track meet, and you're trying to run and run and run. You know what it reminds me of, Lance? Remember old Nolan Richardson's 40 Minutes of Hell?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you want to go sweat down in that Arkansas humidity? You want to run with us? And that's almost what they're saying. Like, hey, man, you want to come play with us? You want to run with us in this heat humidity? Now, the answer, and and I know, it's not September, October. You may march up a bunch of wins. What happens when you got to go run that track race, up in Buffalo or up in Boston or up in New York in November and December? Are you going to wear those old 80s leg socks? It's going to be a little warm or a little cold. You're going to have to bundle up a little bit for what's to come. So that's that's a hurdle that they're going to have to overcome for sure.
Yeah, look, and I know the weather won't be that bad this weekend, but we'll get a little precursor with Miami going to Buffalo. Right now, Buffalo actually a 2.5-point favorite in that game. Even with the 70 points Brock scored last weekend, that wasn't the story. Sadly, or as ridiculous as it sounds, the story was in a suite in Arrowhead, and it was Taylor Swift. And we heard these rumblings that Travis Kelce had kind of floated it out there. She shows up at the game. The more I think about this, I think it is manufactured. I don't think this thing is real. I think the NFL, because I read today, there was an article out that numbers of women like 11 to 18 were up like 18% or something. It's like the NFL has somehow put this thing together. Let's bring T Swift in. We're going to bring in another demographic, and the numbers are going to continue to go up. Travis Kelce's jersey, you saw it plus 400% on the sales. Am I right or am I wrong? Is this a scam?
I'm trying to check out your hat right now. Did you put on the tinfoil? What did you just do for the last minute? What was that? Is that a conspiracy? What?
Yeah.
You think this is
bit.
it? Lance, do you not know love? I mean, do you
I
not
don't.
know?
I don't know if I believe in true love. To be honest with you, I don't think there's a true soulmate out there for somebody.
Oh,
I
that's
think,
sad, Lance. That's so sad.
I think you could go continent to continent and probably find 100, 200 soulmates for you. So yes, this could be my conspiracy theory. They've got odds on this. Travis Kelce, and they're favored to still be dating when they kick off 2024. First of all, she's got a track record of going through dudes like this. I don't see it.
Yes. Okay, so there really is a bet. There's some bet
Yeah.
out there you can make of whether or not they will still be dating week 1 of 2024.
Week 1 of 2024. And
They
it's a
won't be
minus,
dating week 1 of 2024.
I don't know if they'll be dating Christmas. I mean, look, and I think Taylor Swift is, look, I don't think she's attractive. She's cute. She's put together well. Money helps out with that. I took my kids to see her a couple of years ago in Atlanta. She puts on a hell of a show, 3 hours. She gets after it. But I think she's out of his league, man. I know he's a 6'5", maybe the greatest tight end in the history of the game, but she's out of his league.
This is beautiful. Yeah, just a meathead from Ohio. Ohio against the world, as Ryan Day said. And I guess we could throw Kelce. I know he was a Bearcat, but Ohio against the world. Lance against love. Not believing in Taylor and Kelce. And I'm kind of with you. I don't think it's sustainable, but can we just say the NFL wins? I mean, the NFL wins. Whether it's his jersey sales, whether it's the ratings, as you said, it's a populace. I know when I kicked over in 2020, okay, they didn't tell me. There's nothing scripted. There's none of that nonsense. But when I kicked over from college football during the whole COVID nonsense in 2020, and I did those games, it was very clear to me, Lance, like, we're not about like hard, fast. We don't need you having a hard, fast opinion. We don't need your declarative statements. It's not about you. It is about the brand and how big and far and wide can we cast this net to bring in all the fans we can. And Mrs. Swift and all of her Swifties Miss Swift, not Mrs., is doing all of that and more because, as you said, the populace has just grown.
Okay, look, I know the money is too big, and I've heard about, this guy, they're worried about the integrity of the game. He's going to throw a game. Dude's making $35 million. There's no way he's going to throw a game. But I will say, watching Monday night and my Rams against the Bengals, the calls were so questionable. And, as a fan, you only get 17 of these games that you sit back and watch, and one game is massive. And the 2-2 out, the first touchdown, I mean, that was the difference of the game, 4 points. Yep. And not only that, the Logan Wilson interception that you could see the ball move, they didn't overturn that. Just seemed like some really questionable calls. Again, I'm not going to call it a conspiracy theory here, but that was a tough loss for the Rams.
It was, with a hobbled Burrow that you could tell was playing at what? 40%?
I think 70 with the arm. Okay, yeah, he couldn't move out of the pocket at all.
Could not move.
Boy, once Jamar Chase, him and Jamar got in rhythm, it was.
Yeah,
over.
the brain and arm were still 100. The rest of it looked like Marino at about 40, right?
Yeah, fair.
I remember visiting my brother down in Miami, speaking of South Beach, when he was backing up Marino, and it was so cool. I went in the locker room. I'm in college. I'm like, this is great. I remember looking at Dan Marino's shoe, and it looked like a WWF boot. First of all, like it went like up to my knee. It had like a spring in it because he had no Achilles, right? He torn his Achilles. One of his calves is like gone. So this thing's like spring loaded on one side to give him any juice. And what did Danny still do, man? He could still sit back there and sling it. He'd sling it. Burrow,
was he a nice guy when you met him?
Oh, Dan's great. Yeah, he and Damon have a tremendous wine called Passing Time. They've built a an awesome winery, a top 100 cab in the world. Danny's.
Dude, I'm a huge cab guy. I mean, where can I get it? Can I get it at local wine and spirit shops?
I'll tell you this. I'll tell you right now. I don't know how we haven't gotten to this before.
Dude, I've said this before. So I probably indulge a little too much.
Okay.
I mean, our
You
title
and Ian
sponsor.
Fitzsimmons, is that back to your Bama days?
Yeah, Ian doesn't really do it as much anymore. I mean, he does a little. He'll dabble in it, but I still get after it pretty good. But I mean, our title sponsors are, AB, so Bud Light, Redmont Vodka, Dobell Tequila. But I've said this before, as much as I love my cold beer, my IPAs, I love my bourbons, if I could only have one alcohol moving forward, it is red wine, and specifically a good cab.
Well, if you like a big cab, that was his goal. And it was pretty neat to watch this. It's kind of fun today. We talked a lot of football, but now we're getting to love and wine. When Damon was playing with the Dolphins, it was Dan that said to him, like, what are you doing? You're drinking rum and Coke. Like, what are you, 12? And he's like, you've got some of the greatest wine in the world is grown where you were born. Damon was born in Yakima, Washington, on the eastern part of the state, on the eastern slope. And there is it's
Willamette?
Yeah, it's called, Willamette's a little south. That's down in a little more in Oregon. This is called Red Mountain, and the Red Mountain appellation. And some of the best wines, there's the winery's escaping me, but they're 100-point cab. They're ridiculous. Quilceda Creek. If you look up Quilceda Creek, 100-point cab, time and time again, big time. And so Dan was like, A, turned Damon onto it. And then B, over the years, they, were like, man, what if one day? And then they got two other partners, and Damon spent years, Lance, studying the business, because you know what he didn't want to be? One of those jokers that loses everything. And he didn't have Dan Marino's money, to play with. So it's like, I'm not losing it. And he worked and he cultivated relationships, and they got the best farmer, and they grew in the best part of the mountain, and they put together the best winemaker, and they bought the best barrels, and he middle managed it all. And they got a top 100 cab in the world over there at Passing Time. So I will have a Big Brother shoot you. Are you a little fruitier? They've got 3 appellations. I sound like a Passing Time marketer.
Oh, I like this.
Do you like the heavy? Like, do you want the robust?
Okay. Yeah, I like the robust. I mean, that's the way I roll. So, I don't do this night in and night out. I'm a $30 a bottle guy.
Yeah.
But like every now and then, once a month or once every couple of months, I'll get a bottle of Caymus or Silver Oak, and that's a good. And I try to tell people, and I don't know what the price point on this is. What's the price point on you guys?
Oh, that's a good question. I think those are going to be probably up over $100 now.
Okay, yeah, but there is such a difference between a $30 bottle of wine and a $100 bottle of wine.
Yes.
And if you've got it, I say spend it. I mean, that's the way I am. But I would love to try this.
Oh, and you'll love the bottle, man. It's really, really cool. They've put the little laces on the top. It's
nice.
It's done. This was done as like a passion project early. Like,
but your brother's one of those perfectionists, isn't he?
And so are the partners. And it was like,
that's
hey,
good.
Let's just not lose anything in the wine business. And you can ask a lot of them that tried it. It's not an easy business, unbelievably competitive. Everybody and their mother think they can do it. And then you get into it, and all of a sudden it's turned from, hey, this was kind of a fun, maybe little family heirloom, to, wow, like this is taken off. So I will put you in touch, or I will get a bottle sent to you, and Passing Time, you'll get a kick out of the whole deal. It's done really, really well. You can go to their website too. It's pretty neat to see Dan and Damon tell their story of how it all came together. So
is that passingtime.com?
Passingtime.com, man. Passingtime.com.
Are you a wine guy at all?
Mildly. I have very few talents, Lance. I'm colorblind. I'm tone deaf. I've got little sense of smell. I've got a very weak palate. So yeah, other than trying to fool people like you for an hour talking, that's about all I can do now.
I'm going to let you roll because I know you're busy, but are you really colorblind?
Yeah. Yes.
Wait, so how did that work reading defense?
Well, there's always a white jersey and a dark jersey. Now, when they did the whole ridiculous, what do they call that? With the, on some of those Sunday nights or Monday nights where one team.
Oh yeah, the color flash.
There you go. Whatever it was.
Color rush.
That would have been a rush of problems, because I watched that, and in particular we've got colorblind people. I'm sure they're listening right now, going, "Oh yeah, that's me. I can't tell like green and blue or blue and purple like those." It was the Bills and the Jets. I want to say green and blue, and the whole colorblind society rose up and said, "No more." No more color rush. We can't see it. It's not right.
Was that the reason they actually got rid of the color?
No.
I mean, hell, I wouldn't be surprised. But, I love when USC and UCLA play for the Victory Bell, and they both wear the darks. I mean, would that have been a problem?
No, that's still a bit distinct enough. There really usually is enough contrast. Now, could I have used it as an excuse? Coach, I'm sorry, I'm colorblind. I mean, I thought I saw this color. You know, what do you want me to do? It's a disability, a handicap of mine. They also, by the way, now have colorblind glasses. So if I promoted passing time today, next week on Unlocked, I will promote the colorblind sunglasses that are a game changer. But we can't do more than
that's fine, because we got to talk about
we got bookie.com for crying out loud.
Yeah, mybookie.ag and lanceslock.com.
Right.
So final thing I'll ask you, so did it matter what color car you had, or were you like, I don't care, I just want this kind of car?
No, the wife has a say in that. Yeah.
Okay.
The wife would have a say. Like, could I go to the lot and they convinced me? No, you'd really like this really dark brown. It's beautiful, and it's just some horrendous green. Yeah, they probably could have sold me if I didn't have my wonderful bride of 25 years.
Okay, where are you heading this weekend?
I got a fun one, man. Nebraska, one of my favorite places.
I've never been to Lincoln, man. I've heard it's just, I mean, the fans are the best, right?
You got to go. It is just, honestly, it's, if we did the top 3 in the ACC, there's no way if I rank the top 3 places to do a game that Nebraska's not on that list. And this isn't even like the 90s when they're national champs. This is through some tougher years and everything, but, you know, it's 97,000. Lance, they all stay. It's one place that we don't really drive to the game. It's about a mile walk. So I make sure I pack my suit, and I got it's going to be like 90 degrees and windy. It's going to be so weird and weirdly hot.
Yes. Sims starting for Nebraska this weekend?
Oh, Gus Johnson sure hopes not. Let's see, Lincoln. Yeah, bro, it's going to be 93 degrees.
Oh my
windy.
God. I've been bitching and complaining. I'm going to my first game of the year. I'm going Georgia Auburn this weekend. It's going to be 85 down there.
Yeah, that's
how I was like, why can't we have it like in the low 70s? I'm ready for college football.
For low 70s. Yeah,
weather.
Yeah, you got to get to Nebraska. Do it in your life, because you stay all the hotels. It's kind of the Sea of Red. You just all walk in, tens of thousands of people. It's 97,000. Unlike some of these that come in late or got to fill in. Like, nope, there's 90,000. Watching warmups. I mean, they are in. And with Michigan, the number 2 team coming into town, and they don't blow people away. Right, they are one of the fewest plays. Their defense is 3rd in the country with fewest plays allowed. They average about 9 possessions a game. So this is not going to be 70-20. I sure hope not in any world. I think this will be a little more competitive, and it's a great environment. And Nebraska, while woeful on offense, they're stingy on defense, man. They play some good, hard, complicated defense.
I told you last question, I'll get you out of here, but we're both going to see potential train wrecks. Georgia's defense against Peyton Thorne or Robbie Ashford.
Yep.
And you're going to see Michigan's defense against Jeff Sims.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be a long 3 hours.
We'll see. Maybe Mr. Harburg will get out there and run the option. We'll see. Or maybe Sims just flat out runs it every time. Just run it. If he just runs it 25 times and throws it 5, I think they've got probably a better chance.
Yeah, we'll see if he survives that. Okay, it's Unlocked with Fox's Brock Heward. Making sure you like and subscribe here on Disrupt the Media. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you next week.